what we call sexy. You can see from the title, it's more of a love album.
So we're back and again for another week of a great episode, man. I'm out here
And Mel,
with my boy Major in the building.
What's cracking? How's everything? Yeah,
chilling, man.
Everything
is beautiful. Everything is good. Okay. What's going on with you?
I'm good, man. I just got back, man. You know what I'm saying? We just got back from the honeymoon. You dig?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit out of the loop. I'll confess. I've been trying to catch up in these last couple hours, man. We got back maybe around 11, 12, something like that, and then you got to sleep a little bit. But yeah, it was 9 nights, you dig? So I'm I'm still a little fatigued from that, but it
Yeah,
was definitely worth it, man. What's so funny, man? I learned so much. I'm supposed to be on vacation, but man, when that third eye is open, you just look at everything different. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So like we
yeah,
we going island hopping, we going here, we going there, and everybody else is having fun, living it up, and I'm just listening to the history. You know what I'm saying? How on every black island, there was a plantation story. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
What Columbus came here, what he did, and this, that, and the third. And oh my God, it's just, and then even just watching the energy of the people that were currently there, man, versus, you know, um, just seeing how other islands get it in, it was crazy, man. Like I remember in Haiti, we went to Labadee, and we go out there. I guess the cruise line, they lease the island, and they kind of do their own thing with it or whatever. So you
yeah,
go out there, you see all the logos and stuff for the island, this, that, and the third on everything, on all the paraphernalia they're selling. I'm like, man, I don't want this. You know what I'm saying? I want the
yeah,
Haitian people's, hand carved stuff. You know what I mean? So you walk down the road, and they drive you down the road to the end of the road, and then you go up these stairs and up this little path down the way, and you finally see the people and the shops that they have. You know what I'm saying? Like way back in the cut. I'm like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like it was crazy,
yeah.
man. Like it was something, but it was a great experience. You know what I'm saying? So me and my wife, um, had a great time. In spite of some things that let us down a little bit. It was pretty cool. So yeah, we back now though. We back, and we about to kind of dive
Good to
into these.
have you back.
Huh?
I said, good to have you back.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me. What happened, man? While I was gone, let's dive into it, man. I see a lot of crazy
So,
just
yeah, since you've been
be on
gone,
some of the topics,
the K,
man, because I've been madness.
yeah, the chaos has been up in the midst
Hello?
since you've been gone. You're off the scene. You're off the game board. So it's like
Yeah.
you done got off you done got off this
Mm-hmm.
this little plateau that everybody's still majority of us are still on. Some people have gotten off like yourself and others, but the
Yeah,
ones that are here still on the plateau, we are in the midst of the same chaos that was there before you left. So now you
no,
have where everything has spiced up a little bit more. We're seeing more anti-black men posts and memes that we're definitely going to get into later because
wow,
it seems like that always happens around the holidays or gift changing era, like especially with Valentine's Day coming up.
right,
You have a lot of people out there that aren't feeling the love because they aren't in love. They haven't had anybody, in their midst to basically interact with and be involved with. So
no
now you
doubt.
have people being very bitter out here on the social media platform, and
Mm,
we get this, we seeing it, it's tiring, because it goes
yeah,
back to the whole gender war thing, and we got to get off the gender wars. So it's like
hmm,
all we're trying to do is make sure that you guys are able to get the information to get yourself off onto the next level like Major did, you know what I'm saying? And that way you can build in peace and not be out here in this war zone because nobody wants to deal with the war zone out here and then have to deal with the war zone of the economy that we're going through. So
real
it's
talk.
like you're living in multiple facets of battles and running into multiple battlefields, and that joint gets tiring after a while. So we're here to basically break down some of this stuff so it can help you to get on that journey so that way you don't be part of the war zone that's continuously going on with a lot of people out here in the field. So
Real
That's
talk.
what's been really going on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know. Did you see a movie? Speaking of dating, there was a movie that just dropped recently that kind of um, went into the realms of the dating world that we're going into now. I'm not sure if you've seen the movie You People.
Actually, I haven't seen it. My girl was just my wife. Oh God, I get in so much trouble when I call her my girl now.
You got to
My
get
wife.
in the repetitiveness of that, boy. You got to
I
come natural. You're going to get popped.
I know, right? It's crazy. I mean, she's still my girl, though, but my wife.
Yeah.
So yeah, she
Yeah,
was just
she
showing.
yeah, she heard the girl title for a long time, so she earned the wife title. So now she
Uh-huh.
wants to hear that a little bit more, you know?
I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it. But she was just telling me about that, and I was like, baby, I gotta go lay down. And like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta haul all this luggage and we walking 20 miles a day and all this, man. Look, and that sun just sit on your head when you get on them islands. Nah, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
So I went to go lay down a little bit. Now that I'm refreshed, yeah, I'm about ready to check it out. But yeah, what's the particulars on that? I haven't even seen the previews, bro. Real talk. I haven't
All
even
right,
seen.
so basically, for everybody that don't know what we're talking about this You People, right? So it's a
Yeah.
show with Eddie Murphy, Nia Long. You have God, I forgot the guy's name, but in the movie his name is Ezra, the short, um, heavyset white
I
guy you
think
see
it's
in the
Jonah
back that's
something.
sitting there. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's Jonah something. I could be
Yeah, I
wrong.
think it's up top. It's up top. What's
Yeah,
his
it's
name?
Jonah
Yeah,
Jonah
Jonah
Hill.
Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, Jonah Hill. And then you have Lauren London and her his family, and then Eddie Murphy and Nia Long is her family. So it's kind of the interracial theme
Okay.
dating world that we're starting to see more of,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people were. It's mixed reviews.
Okay.
But I saw a lot of people that really liked it.
Okay.
Um, I didn't too much like it on my side because I'm gonna tell you why I didn't like it on my side. On my side, it was very cringing. It was very
Mm,
cringing because not the fact of interracial dating. I have people in my family that are interracially tied together and been
yeah.
tied together for a long time. So I
Okay.
don't really have a problem with interracial dating. My problem is that whenever they do interracial dating, it's always one side seems to downgrade the other side, and that side always seems to be the black side. The black side always is looked at as the negative side. And
Right.
in this movie, um, it was very cringing to me because in the movie, Eddie Murphy and Nia Long raised Lauren London in this pro-black environment, in this pro-black home.
Yeah, I see him with the
So
kufi on. Yeah.
yes, with the kufi on, right? So it's a
Right.
pro-black environment, pro-black home, and it was so impactful that to see black couples embracing their black history because we don't see that. A lot of times they try to hide it and try to be ashamed of it. Even in
Yeah.
reality, in real life, you see that a lot. Everybody tries to scatter away from their black roots and ancestry and they want to act uppity or act white. That's where the whole term act white comes from
Mm-hmm.
because you're ashamed of yourself and you want to act like other races of people and don't even know that those people really are trying to emulate and imitate what you're doing and want to be you. So it's kind of a weird reality switch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you have some people in our community trying to be them, and their community is trying to be us. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So in the realms of that, we get a lot of self hate. In the midst of the self hate, um, this is why we have so much issues within our community because we have endured so much self hate. We don't like to even be around each other. So to see a black couple embrace their blackness and was very firm on their blackness and then you see that, you love that, but in the movie, as the movie goes on, it was taking shots and dibs at the black family. And
Mm.
one of the shots they took at the black family was the kufi, right? Where we said with the kufi. And she said, he said to her, Eddie Murphy said to Jonah's mother, um, one of my prized possessions is the kufi. And I got the kufi from Mr. Farrakhan. Mr. Farrakhan personally took it off his head and gave it to me. And this is one of my best and well-known possessions that I have, my
Yeah.
most embraced possession. And I
Uh-huh.
thought that was dope. You know how we feel about the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, and how
Right.
his teaching and the Elijah Muhammad's teaching have really kept black people afloat in an unapologetic way for years.
Mm-hmm.
And people have been taking shots at them, especially knowing that Jonah is from the J community, and the J community always have a rift with Mr. Minister Farrakhan. So knowing that Jay and his family is from the J community, to see them take shots and dabs at Minister Farrakhan, I didn't think that was very classy, or even respectable to do, especially if that wasn't a jab with Mr. Farrakhan being in the movie himself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when he said that, and the first thing she said was, "Oh, well, Farrakhan don't really like, the J community," and that's far
Mm.
from the truth. Farrakhan only talks about hate that comes from other people in the from other communities. He talks
Right.
about hate. And he doesn't only just talks about hate from other communities. He talks about how we hate ourselves, and he talks about how we need to correct that. He also talks about the issues that black men have in our community, and we need to fix that. He talks
Mm.
about issues that black women have, and we need to fix that. So he doesn't target any other community. He just targets that we need to be better inside our community, as well as look at all the things that other communities are doing to us, and stand up for yourself and protect yourself. You don't have to take this bashing. You're much better than that. And I think in that process of that, people analyze and take him in the wrong form. And
Mm.
that's why you have people that take shots at somebody like that. And we sit around and listen to that, and we take it as a form of entertainment. But to somebody like us, that is a form of is a form of disrespect, because whether you agree with Farrakhan or Elijah Muhammad's views, or Malcolm X views, at the end of the day, these people have built such a powerful front that has stopped a lot of white supremacists and racist whites and people, or racist people from other communities,
Yeah.
of harming us, because he has set up our mind to understand the wars that's coming at us, understanding how to defend ourselves, and understanding how we can, as a community, can build together and not lean on other people to either let us free, or even to get subsidized um, resources, so that way we can survive. We can do it on our own. And that's always been the teaching of Elijah Muhammad and NOI and Farrakhan, is to uplift yourself, know the knowledge of self, and making yourself a better person, to be out here with a village mentality. And like
Yes.
I say, I thought that to me it was very condescending, and it just was low class for me to see them throw Mr. Farrakhan under the bus like that, and just the
Mm-hmm.
whole overall just downplaying being pro-black like that. One of the other things that Jonah said to Lauren in the bedroom was like, they had a debate about getting married, right? So you got married, but you and your wife pretty much on the same accord. So you guys had a pastor that you guys agreed on, that was equivalent to what you guys pretty much are on. Whenever
Right.
you're dealing with two different people, two different race of people, you have two different forms of religion. So, what do you call it? Eddie Murphy and Laura London, their family was adopted to the Muslim religion. And then you
Okay.
had Jonah, who was from the J community. So they, they do their own traditions and they have their own practices in their religion, right?
Mm,
So the Hebrew versus the Muslim. So now when it came down to marriage, they were basically arguing about who was going to ordain them, and were they going to take Hebrew J um, pastor, or were they going to use a Muslim pastor? And
mm,
in the process of that, that in itself created a rift because they wanted the Eddie Murphy and Lauren London family to go with their pastor, and they was like, "No, we're not going to do that. We have our values. We feel like the pastor should be a Muslim pastor." So that created a big rift, and it was just like, well, you guys should cower down to us because this is what we
mm.
want to do. And I just felt like it was so cringing. It wasn't funny to me. Like a
Okay.
lot of people said it wasn't funny to them. Some people said it was funny to them. I don't find that type of stuff entertaining to me. I guess because my mentality and who I am and what I stand for wouldn't allow me to laugh at something like that. And they said one thing was talking about, I forgot what exactly she said, and he was like, Jonah was like throwing like, "Oh, you just all of a sudden wake up and now you're Muslim," and she was like, "Well, no, I've been Muslim my whole life," and then she was like, yeah, what did you just wake up and you start eating Jewish uh what she said, some kind of Jewish eggs or something. I forgot what it was, but I was just
Mm.
like, God, it was just so cringing, man. It was very
Bruh,
much cringing.
let me
Yeah,
tell you,
it was cringing.
I've seen the previews,
Yeah,
and the previews, I'm like little snippets, not the whole preview, but like little snippets, just like the parts of the
yeah,
movie that are supposed to be funny.
yeah.
And I did not laugh once. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't see the whole preview, but I saw the
Yeah,
little parts of the movie that are supposed to be funny. You just like you
yeah,
head to the bathroom or something, and you just happen to glance at the TV and you see. And I just haven't seen anything funny. If I watch this movie at all, it's just going to be really on the strength of the cast. I like Eddie Murphy.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
rooting for Eddie. Coming to America too was not funny. Straight up
yeah,
and down, it just wasn't funny. You know what I'm saying? Like it
yeah,
was very disappointing. I'm like, Eddie, what are you doing? Like the
yeah,
whole Eddie's whole shtick was Eddie was off the wall. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Eddie was outrageous. Eddie was, he was outside the box. And I feel like him and Kevin Hart also, to an extent lately, they're allowing this whole, I get offended and I get my ass chapped every time, somebody says the word Jewish or somebody says the word gay, like your ass is exempt from jokes. Fuck
yeah,
that. You know what I'm saying? Like this is something we got to get outside of right now because
yeah.
like you're killing entertainment. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
They try to call Dave Chappelle anti-Semitic. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like he made some jokes. He mentioned the word, like he said in his stand-up, the Jews. If you
yeah,
say the Jews, all of a sudden you're anti-Semitic and you're saying kill all the Jews. This type of BS, man. Like real talk, we gotta get outside of that, man. Like we
yeah,
really, really we gotta push back heavy against that because these people,
yeah,
what they're doing is they're using their Jewishness, to allow them to practice anti-black racism. You're
mm,
smearing Dave Chappelle now by saying that Dave Chappelle is anti-Semitic when the man has said nothing anti-Semitic. Same thing with Kyrie Irving, so forth and so on. When they got on LeBron about saying something in a rap song, I'm rich like the Jews, I want to be rich like the Jews, or something like that. And they call him anti-Semitic, so this whole bullshit narrative
yeah,
that every time you mention a group at all, if you telling a joke about trans people or whatever the case may be, it's a joke. You know what I'm saying? It's not a
mm,
hateful joke. It's not a, something that's said with the intent to do harm or whatever the case may be. It's just a joke. You and me,
mm,
we grew up on Delirious. We grew up on Raw.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Even before that, Richard Pryor, man, these people were outrageous with their comedy. And it was
yeah,
funny. So we
yeah,
we need to really start pushing back against that. But just in a nutshell, like I said, when I look at the little clips, they didn't seem funny to me. The people in the cast, Jonah Hill, he runs hot and cold. He can be funny sometimes. Lauren London is not funny at all. Who else is in there? The chick from Seinfeld, she's funny. Okay, so I'm like, all right, the cast looks like it might work, But what bothered me about it so far is I feel like this whole agenda, this swirling agenda, they are just pushing the hell out of this swirling agenda. Every time you look up, you can't even see a commercial with a black couple, black man, black woman, black child. It's always a black man with a white woman. You know what I'm saying? Or no. Usually it's a black woman with the white man. That's actually what they really, really want to push. You know what I'm saying? And the child is mixed if there's even a child. You know what I mean? And it's very intentional because, dude, you're not going to tell me that you've never seen a black couple. You know what I'm saying? And that you don't want to sell to a black market because that's the excuse they always give. Well, we're trying to diversify. And, dude, you know what I'm saying? It has, I mean, I get that at a certain point, but every damn commercial you see on every TV show, there's a swirling couple. Just like on every TV show, you got your obligatory LGBT couple. You know what I'm saying? Like this agenda bullshit where even what's this woman's name? The red chick who's always got this agenda programming bullshit. Ava DuVernay. Ava DuVernay said straight up in an interview that like she'll just stick a gay character in there just to do it. So you're not really concerned about telling stories, in my view. You know what I'm saying? That's telling me that the agenda is more important to you than the story. You understand? If it makes sense, or the character happens to be gay. If you're writing a movie about James Baldwin, well, James Baldwin was gay. goddammit. Okay, it makes sense that you get an LGBT actor to play James Baldwin and whatever. Okay, I can get with that. It makes sense, but when you just kind of stick a gay person in there for the sake of having somebody gay in there, or a Jew in there for the sake of having somebody Jewish in there, whatever the case may be, or a black person for that matter, for the sake of having a black person in there. Spider-Man, they made the last Spider-Man black. I didn't even watch that shit. What do we need Spider-Man to be black for? You know what I'm saying? Like that. Why? You know what I mean? Just tell the damn story. All this. Identity politics bullshit. Oh, we're going to just stick this person in there just to do it, just so that we have, we address this group of people. I feel like it's nonsensical. That goes back to that intersectionality BS, which isn't about anything either. What up, Bob?
What up, Bob?
All right.
What's good?
Yeah.
Jiu-Jitsu master. I'm glad you said something about the I'm glad you said something about you said something just that caught me just a while ago about gosh, it slipped my tongue. It slipped my mind as soon as you
about just sticking characters in for the sake of sticking them in.
It was something you said, but anyways, to the the J. That's why I always say the J community, because even on here you might get flagged for just saying the whole word. So you gotta be sensitive to an extent, like, and it's crazy, So, but I did want to say about there was another thing that they did do that was very shady that they did, but even though people that don't do the research and don't understand and don't know what the real truth is out here, they'll take it as a joke, but it wasn't really a joke. It was really a shot at Barack Obama. So in Barack Obama, they said a little joke in the beginning about him being on coke and being gay, right? He took a jab at him about that.
Yeah.
And people that knows the back history of Barack Obama knows that that's not really a joke. But they did it in a way to make it seem like a joke. So if you heard stuff about that, you would think that it's a joke when it's really in reality some real stuff in his past that went down. I thought that was really, really funny how they did that in there, and I was like, oh, this is some stuff that you do to throw people off, and they can always revert back to it being a joke. But just the fact
Right.
that you just threw that in there, it just shows you what type of character the movie was on in the whole totality of it. Um, but to me, I didn't like that form of you people. I did take notes on that stuff though. I think one of them was that Ezra, right? Ezra
Yeah.
is, which is Jonah. He's the perfect candidate. If you look at the movie, if you ever get a chance to watch the movie, he's a perfect candidate of a simp, right? So
Mm,
the narrative of this movie really, it really downplays black people. So here you have this beautiful woman, Lauren London, who
right.
ends up meeting this guy, by he opens her door thinking that she's an Uber driver, and that's how they met, right? And she was lost, and he opens up her door and jumps in the car as an Uber driver. So that's a joke. Like if it was the other way around, if it was a white woman and she was in her car and a black dude jumped in the car, it would be a whole different story. You know what I'm saying? A
Right.
whole different thing.
Hmm.
So the fact that he could just open up her door and jump in it, and then that's a perfect love connection or a perfect love start, to start up a movie. That was
Yeah.
so crazy how they did that play upon white privilege, because
Yeah.
only a white person could pull something like that off in real life without it being
Hmm.
problematic.
True.
Um, he also he's a short, oversized white dude who's not in shape.
Right.
So how does a guy like that? And when you watch the movie, he doesn't make money like that. He's not somebody who's making money. He has
Hmm.
a job that he got to hook up with, and then on top of that, he quits the job to be a podcaster,
Yeah.
right? So he's not this firm, buff white guy that can run competition with the average black guy.
Yeah.
So here's this guy who's just fuzzy in the bed. He's not shaped up. It's like they purposely put him in this oversized, just raggedy looking white guy who could pull a dynamic black woman.
The worst of the
And
worst.
I
Yes.
thought that was the programming that I thought that was very, very spot on with the programming of what they're trying to say is that the average sloppy white guy is attracted to the most attractive black woman. When we
That's
know in
exactly.
reality that's far from opposite. This is why they keep straight black men out of corporate 500 jobs, because a black man who's in a job like that with the assurance and the way he walks and his physique, height, the myth of, I wouldn't say a myth, but the um, we
The
carry
Mandingo in
the
it.
statistical fact of being mandingos, right? So we are up there as far as
Hmm.
melanated people with, a package. So, you got when we're in a workplace, just like the news reporter who was just banging all the white women in there, they were pissed off
TJ
about that.
Holmes.
Yeah, he was a straight black man. That's one of the reasons why they either get feminized black men or they promote black women. But they
Yeah.
never
Straight
have
back.
a straight dominant
Hmm.
black man in that workspace because
Hmm.
he gravitates to everybody. Even if there's a gay white man there, that gay white man is going to gravitate to that black man. It's just the aura of what black man presents and what they bring in that realm.
We
We
are the pinnacle
attract
of masculinity.
everybody.
We're the
Yes,
pinnacle of
we attract, everybody
masculinity.
wants to be a black man. That's why they have to put the fear of fearing black men. So that way, it weakens the image of black men because now you get to put them in that realm where you can target them and destroy them. And then you have what they want to present as justified reasons for doing that by placing a negative image on black men.
Hmm.
So there's a reason why we are being destroyed. There's a reason why we're being targeted because we're so powerful. Our attraction level attracts everybody. One of the biggest things that people don't know is that even black men attract animals. So the original Tarzan was a black man, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even the animals feel safe with us. We even
Mm-hmm.
had like we talked Bobby brought that up last time. We were having sessions where the white woman said, "Hey, if you ever get lost to her white child, go look for a black
A
man."
black man,
You
yeah,
know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So
crazy. That's
that just shows you how powerful black men are. And we have to understand what's going on. So just like Major was talking about how the programming always puts black women with white men, and you never see a dominant power couple on film like that. And if
mm-hmm.
they are on film like that, it's something totally out of the realms of being lovable and loyal like that to each other, like they
It's always
project
dysfunction.
on it. It's always
And it always
dysfunction,
feeds
right?
into stereotypes. Like, and a lot of these myths, some do have some basis in truth, but we see that as well, where they always try to, whenever they pitch these interracial situations, most of the time they're always promoting uh, when it's a black man with a white woman or with a non-black woman, but specifically a white woman, it's
Mm-hmm.
usually always with these oversized, overweight, my 600-pound life type of
Mm-hmm.
women. It's
Mm-hmm.
seldom this bad, gorgeous, drop down dead, knockout supermodel type chick. It's seldom the O.J. Simpson, Nicole Brown type thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where back then, and if you weren't old enough back then to really understand the nuance and everything that was being put out there, but back in her day, Nicole Brown Simpson was, by white people standards, she was fine as hell. She was, that was the kind of chick where that was the homecoming queen,
Mm-hmm.
the star quarterback, or the star player on the basketball team. That was the one that was hooked up with her. And when they came back for the high school reunions, everyone wants to see how she's doing, how they're doing, and everything. She was
Yeah.
the it girl.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it robbed a lot of the rank and file white dudes back then to see a dude like O.J. Simpson not just with her, but to seemingly have her at her beck and call because he had her whooped, not on some abusive type stuff, but like he had her nostrils wide open. She was sprung off, dude. And
Yeah.
even towards the end, after they had divorced everything, she was writing him letters saying that she missed him and she was hoping that they could work it out. So even after they were done, she still wanted back in life.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So it bothers them when they see that mandingo energy, that strong, masculine, heterosexual black man regulating and dominating on their women like that. And then vice versa, when they showcase the male female relations with the white male and the black female, usually it's that same kind of sloppy, dusty dude, the high school computer geek with the barrel gut, receding hairline, that type of dude who has no game. He's real corny. He has no sort of charisma, but somehow he's able to pull the top notch level of the bad black women like that. And that's what they kind of put out there, both to promote that to us, but also as like a trophy status type thing where, see, you could be the masculine mandingo black man, but we can still pull your woman without none of that.
Right.
And it's just a whole bunch of
Exactly.
cheap shots and little pop shots they like to take at us in their quote unquote humor that we know a lot of the times isn't actually humorous. It's slights and cheap shots they like to take at us.
Real talk. We got to be very mindful of when we're being given a backhanded compliment. That whole movie just seems like a backhanded compliment to me. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like, and let me make sure that I put this in context. And put this out there. They are also making a concerted effort to attack the woke conscious community. This is
Yes.
something I see
Yes.
all the time,
Yes.
constantly.
Yes.
And Coons help them do it. I know people myself. You and I, we all know people. There are certain people that we see every day, that they attack woke people and they're black.
Yeah.
And you have to look at what the opposite of woke is. The opposite of woke is asleep. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And these Negroes are asleep and they're happy being asleep. Ignorance is
Mhm.
bliss, and they're happy being ignorant and asleep. And they're so that gives them the confidence and the comfortable feeling to attack people who challenge you to think, to attack people who challenge you to be better, to attack people who challenge you to do more with yourself. You know what I'm saying? These
Exactly.
type of people we really, really got to look out for. But I mean, there's even a Stop Woke Act. DeSantis in Florida, he has a whole
Mhm.
act, named that. It's the Stop Woke Act. Think about that. Who else calls themselves woke? You know, but black people, that's a term that
Woke,
we
woke is basically the new N word. That's what that is.
Yeah.
That's what they have turned it
basically,
into. When they take shots at the woke, that's really a little backhanded way of saying nigger.
Yeah.
That's what it
basically,
really
that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
You know, and
And
I've
and
even seen.
don't forget that you have people on the Democratic side. So we don't want to make it seem like it's one-sided, because you have people on the
Mm,
Democratic side that really been slandering woke people, even down to Roland Martin and the Boulay clique have been
Yes,
slandering woke people. So they represent the Democratic Party. So you gotta we taking shots from both sides, because they understand that both sides don't benefit when black people are awakened. So they
right,
want us to be asleep. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So that's why there's an attack from both sides, the both political parties, on
true.
people that are waking up. And we, as what we do here and what we do on our individual platforms, is we keep the narrative going to make sure that people are awakened and not being asleep. And we go hard on the people who are the coons, the raccoons, and the sambos and the sellouts that try to keep our people asleep. So we don't tolerate that type of stuff. We give you guys the information. This is one of the reasons why so many people love this platform. We are already only 4 weeks in, and already people are just like, the stuff that we get from behind the scenes, the stuff that I'm receiving, the compliments that everybody's talking about. You brothers are doing a phenomenal job of just giving the people exactly what they want to hear. And
Yeah,
that's not saying that we're catering to what they want to hear. It's just that we're saying things that's in their mind that nobody else is saying. And it takes guts and leadership to bring that to the forefront. And that's what we do here on the platform. Because at the end of the day, it's your children that we're protecting. We're not protecting you, we're protecting your children. The information we give to you is to help you protect your children. It's always about the next generation. When Harriet Tubman wasn't thinking about my mother, she was thinking about us. She was thinking about protecting us, making sure that my mother's children were never to be born on a plantation. That's
right.
what Harriet was fighting for. The next generation, right? And
Hmm.
that's what we have to fight for. We have to fight for the next generation, which is the youth. And we can't have the youth being Sambos, baby raccoons, and that's not going to get the needle pushed in the right way, not going to get tangible assets in the right way. And that's only going to continue to have us on this hamster wheel that we've been on for over 300 years.
Real
So we
talk.
have to start making sure that we move the sambos out of the way so that the youth understand how to fight correctly and how to fight effectively and how to fight strategically to get their tangible needs in order to push the culture and also protect themselves in the long run. That's what needs to be done. And that's what
Absolutely.
we do here, you
Hmm.
know. So even in the midst of the backlash of that, I saw a lot of anti-black men hate coming from a lot of black women. And some of these women are not the cream of the crop. So they took this movie
They never
and
are.
they end up saying this. I had to cut her name off, but
Hmm.
this is the caption she wrote. She took this picture and said,
Wow.
"This is my next move. I'm sick of trying with you colors."
Wow.
Laughing emoji.
Wow. Wow. I
So
mean,
this,
mm,
yeah, this is what they do. You
uh,
take jabs at black men like that off of these movies because, like I say, this guy Noah in the movie is the epitome of a simp. This is what people are getting on Russell Wilson. Like if you were to compare him to him, this is what when people talk about simps, then they compare Russell Wilson. This is the personality that this guy presents. It's the
right.
same Russell Wilson type personality to Lauren. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And that right there in itself just lets you know, like, damn, everybody wants to be on that level of catering, regardless of building a foundation that is worth something versus just finding somebody that's only beneficial in your aspect. That
Right.
doesn't do anything for the culture. That doesn't move anything in your household, because if that guy dies off, you're not going to find another simp like that to replace. So now, if that dies off, your whole existence of what you've been living and how you've been living dies off as well. You want somebody in there that can basically solidify how you guys operate and work together in a way where you guys are feeding off each other. He wasn't feeding off of her.
Right.
Basically, anything she wanted, he was able to give to her, like he wanted to give to her. That's not building a straight foundation of strength. You don't
Right.
build a foundation in your household by just giving your mate something. Even if on the other side, I've seen men do that to women, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like that doesn't build a foundation. That crumbles a foundation because you guys aren't built tough when adversity comes, because you're not working off of each other's strength. You're just using one person's strength to
That's
strengthen
it.
yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
that's all that happens in that situation. So, you know, when it comes down to what we need to do as far as building a structurable house or a fort, having a house that's a fort, it's way different than what they displayed inside that movie. And that movie only creates more of a fantasy type relationship and a fantasy type reality that is nothing near a reality that we're living in today. And that's
Mm-hmm.
very dangerous more than it is anything else. And that's why those type of images and that type of programming has a lot of our women um, out here lost and wanting to find that, and that's not going to be found. So if you don't find that, they feel like, oh, then I'm not worthy enough to be in a relationship with just any and anybody until I find that. And that lingers on, is like you trying to find a unicorn in real life, knowing that a damn unicorn don't exist. But if they tell you, hey, somebody saw a unicorn over here, it keeps you up with hope. And hope
Mm-hmm.
has always become one of our deadliest Achilles heel in our community. We live
Right.
off of hope and we die off of hope. Got to get off of that mentality. Definitely.
It's all bullshit, bro. Like real talk. You know, we have this, like you said, you know, all this hope and you know, just pie in the sky type of mentality. You know, we had to deal with each other on a realistic basis. We were talking to a
Yeah.
brother and sister on the cruise we just got off of, and they were talking about that. Like, there's a sister who was saying, unfortunately, the sister she's talking about died, but
Yeah.
she was talking about how she knew this lady, and she only the lady only wanted to talk to a man who wore a shirt and tie to work. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it had, yeah, it had like an executive position. And, it was funny because, immediately your mind goes to a certain place, how all these women demonize Kevin Samuels, but he told the God's honest truth because
Yes.
even, I asked, okay, well, we all know that that's not necessarily true, but just for shits and giggles, what did she look like? And of course, she was like, well,
Yeah.
she didn't look the part, and it's just funny how, these people have this laundry list of demands of what is expected because, they're just so wonderful and they deserve it just because they're there, and they have absolutely nothing that this type of person that they're talking about would want in them. Absolutely nothing.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? You can't,
Yeah.
you want to talk that talk, you kind of gotta look like Lauren London. You understand what I'm saying? If you
Yeah.
want to talk that talk, I need this 6-figure dude who drives a Bentley, and he graduated, graduated summa cum laude or whatever, this, that, and the third. You gotta look a certain way.
Yeah.
There are weight requirements.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not even gonna get into the specifics of it. There's age requirements, weight requirements, complexion requirements. And at the end of the day, this is not me. I used to be a club promoter. Now I will tell you, they will tell you very clearly, don't send no chick up here over 140 pounds.
Oh, I know that on South Beach. I can tell
Huh?
you the club on
Don't
South
send her
Beach
up
at
here.
that time. That time, the club on South Beach was the club, the last club on before the last club before 15th Ave. I forgot
Dream.
what club that was.
Club Dream.
Huh? Dream.
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 Yeah.
Yes. Dream.
You ain't getting in there if you
Oh
got a
yeah.
certain if you a certain
Yo,
complexion.
you got a big girl in your clique, y'all ain't getting in there. I've witnessed
He's
it.
talking about
I've
CIP. Don't
witnessed
send it. Should look this
it.
way.
Period.
And club promotions.
Real
One of the
talk.
fastest ways you can tell exactly where a club either is located or who they're trying to attract just based on the advertisement. If they
Right.
got the plus size chick, or this ain't taking shots and digs at nobody, this is what it is. Don't
That's
get
what it
mad at
is.
me. Go to your local nighttime establishment and take it out with them.
it.
All the flyers, all the promos, the ads, or whatever. They got the plus size chicks and the shorts with the auntie arms, whatever. Those the
Yeah.
bar and grill,
The
the
auntie
daytime
aunt.
spots, the ones where it's pretty much
Right.
casual Sunday every day. The
Right.
high end spots that's
Yeah.
pitching luxury. They pitching that life. This is where the ballers play. This is where the
Right.
dimes come at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They ain't promoting that on the flyers. We ain't gonna see
None of
not
that.
now one
None
on
of
there
that.
No.
Right. And
because
No.
look, this.
that's not what goes with the image and the lifestyle. Because especially when you, this is true for all men, but this is especially true for black men.
Yeah.
When you're successful,
Yeah.
when you're able to get it out of the mud, given the fact that we have no generational wealth being passed down to us,
Right.
a lot of successful ones amongst, they did not have any successes elsewhere in the family. They're the first ones that are trailblazers for their family. They're
Mm-hmm.
the first to have their own business, the first to graduate school, the first to do it real big at this level.
Yeah.
It
Mm.
takes a lot of drive, discipline, determination, and a whole lot of grit to get in them spots.
Real talk.
Mm.
So once you make it to that place, you ain't trying to just settle for any and everything because your whole life up until this point has not been about settling for anything. So you want the best, the nicest, the flyest, the hottest. You want that elite. So you're
Right.
not
Yes.
gonna settle for anything that doesn't represent where you at right now. And you might consider it to be shallow,
Yeah.
and you're probably not wrong.
Nah.
But when you pay the cost to be the
Mm-hmm.
boss, you can afford to call them shots.
Yeah.
You worked this hard so you wouldn't have to go and accept what everybody else has to. That's where the saying comes from. You do what you want, others do what they can.
Exactly. And I'm glad you made that point
Yes,
because
sir.
it goes back to what Major said earlier about Kevin Samuels. Do you guys remember Kevin Samuels got in some hot water over it, going viral for saying single women are leftovers? You remember that?
Whew.
Y'all remember
I,
that when he said that?
I didn't see the clip, but I remember the backlash that came from that. I never see the clip. I heard I
Funny
heard
how
the
we
camera start going off.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Yes,
I
so
remember that.
it's funny how people clown that man for saying that, but Kevin Samuels travels. And because he travels, and he told you he's an image consultant, because he's done that, he's been around the world. And this is something that is famously said around the world. And I'm going to show you and prove to you
Yeah.
that it has been. So listen to this.
A woman, single and over 30, you are called 剩女, which means leftover woman in Mandarin. In Cantonese, you are called 籮底
Mm-hmm.
糖, 賣剩蔗, and 攝造辣, which means orange at the bottom of the basket, the sugar cane that didn't get sold, and the thing used for filling the gap of the stove. But if you're a man,
Damn.
single and over 30, you are called 钻石王老五, which means a diamond bachelor in Mandarin. In Cantonese, you're called 笋盤, which means quality real estate.
Mm.
Mm.
So
Mm.
so people didn't understand when he said that he wasn't lying. We as people have not traveled. We're not diverse in travel like that. We're starting to do that now, but we're not diverse in travel like that. And we
Right.
don't understand how everywhere else is on a level. And when you come here to America, we're in this tunnel vision of thinking society is how you blow or how whatever you think, that's how it goes. No, that's not how it
Mm-hmm.
goes. Everybody outside of the US is on one accord. You come here and this is the melting pot where you just have all these ideologies, and then you're wondering why you guys aren't structured like anybody else outside of the US. And that's why
Right.
they take pride in that stuff. These women that
Mhm.
come here from overseas, they come here, they're slim, fit, trim, feminine. They know,
Mhm.
they're I want to say, I don't want to say that they're programmed to be domesticated, but they were raised in that way. So you kind of say they were raised in a way to be a wife, right? When you
Right.
look at them from overseas. So
Right.
this is where we have the issue with the passport boys, right? And you got
Mhm.
people bashing the passport boys. And I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of things that the passport boys do that I don't really agree with, and
True.
that's one of the reasons what I don't agree with what they do is the same reason I get mad with or I have a problem when black women do it, is that it's okay to go out here and tell people, look, it's this world. I mean, the U.S. isn't successful for me. I can go outside of the U.S. and I'm successful, and I have gained success and marriage through it. But don't throw black women under the bus while doing that.
Right.
Just
Right.
go out there and do your thing without even saying anything. Just be like, yo, I'm successful out here. Brothers, go out here and do it. But when you say, oh man, these hood business here and this, I go over there and these women are catering to us and doing this and that. I have a
Right.
problem with that because
Because it's
even
cooning.
though even though you're boosting and bragging about these women being feminine and all on you like that over there, you don't know what the hidden agenda for majority of those women are, because
True.
I can go anywhere overseas and guess what? I tell them I'm from America and I get any amount of love like out of this world, because in
Easy.
their mind, if they play their cards right, they can become a US citizen just by me marrying them.
Right.
So
Mhm.
you just don't never know the end game of what their real intentions are to after the fact. Because if you do a follow up of
Mhm.
some of these passport boys, I'm pretty sure some of them got a divorce because the women done filed for a divorce after they got their papers and they cleared. But they're not going to tell that side of the story.
Dang.
So my thing
True.
is, do what you do, but don't throw other people under the bus while you're doing it. And I
Agreed.
seen black women have done that. They have, oh yeah, white men treat us better and this and that, and they throw black men under the bus. Hey, you want to deal with a white dude? Fine, but don't throw brothers under the bus in the midst of trying to push up and prop up somebody else in the process. That
Right.
to me is real lame on both sides of the fence, and I don't tolerate it no matter what gender you are.
The
Cooning is cooning.
hypocrisy is just wild, man. It's because and this isn't I don't. Well, I don't know what I would call them, but this whole passport boys thing is the whole idea of brothers going overseas and getting with women is not new by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah,
That's been occurring at least since as far back as World War One, because
yeah,
brothers didn't really have the opportunity to go overseas. The first time FBA brothers were able to actually go overseas and actually see new places, see new countries, was really when they were getting shipped over for war. A lot of them they stayed over there because they got treated better over there as a whole than they did over here. Some, they were over there, they're fraternizing, they're meeting, mixing, they're mingling, they're meeting women and stuff. And so never different experiences, whatever. But there was never this marketing campaign that's taking place today. The brothers they didn't talk about it, they were just being about it. They were just handling business. They found someone over there they were rocking with and they kept it moving. It's
yeah,
these new niggas that's coming over and they trying to play a tourist guy. Hey, you got to come over here. It's the promised land. The women are doing it. It's corny as hell. And what they're really doing is showcasing at least one of the reasons why they weren't having success over here in the first place.
Right.
If
yeah,
if the biggest accolade you got to your name to go ahead and get female attention is I'm not from around here. You lame, bruh. You
Real
you
talk.
you
Real
lame.
talk. Let me tell you.
You're exotic. That's
yeah,
your pimp juice. That's your mouthpiece. I'm not from around here.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
That's lame. But I can't champion the women who are clowning them because at the same time, You also have women that have been doing this to an extent as well. You have the whole divesting movement.
Mm-hmm.
No
Yeah.
one's been talking about that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
None of the women been getting enough of that. You have YouTube channels and resources by sisters that are literally dedicated to teaching black women how to attract white men, how to get into interracial relationships, how to behave in interracial relationships, and all this stuff. Ain't no sisters clowning them for that. And
Yeah.
Bruh,
so
let me
this
tell you.
is something that's being done on both ends.
Yes.
It's anti-black and it's misogynist and misandrist at some levels. And quite frankly, all the going back and forth, like the Spider-Man meme, Spider-Man pointing over here, Spider-Man pointing over there, you.
Yeah.
Y'all the same damn people. Knock it
Yeah.
off.
Mm-hmm.
Go sit in the corner and work it out.
Bruh. A
True.
coon is a coon is a coon is what it breaks down to. You know what I'm saying? All
Period.
this samboing and banjo playing. You know what I'm saying? When you start talking about your own people, I sent Aunt some screenshots of this one chick that we both know. And I was like, "Did you know this chick was a self-hating bed wench?" He had no idea. She plays it off so well. She comes off as so, deep and so philosophical. Really, at the end of the day, this is who she is. And I'm like,
Yeah.
bruh, I'm thinking to
Yeah.
myself, man, these people are all around us. It's unbelievable, and when you really, really break it down and you at its core, it's all about self-hatred. You know what I'm saying? That we just don't like each
Yeah.
other very much, man. Black men and black women, broadly speaking. Of course, there are many of us that are having successful, healthy relationships, but a lot of us just really have this deep-seated vitriol for the other side. Like you said, the passport brothers, it's a gift and a curse, because like Anthony said, like, yeah, you do see some of the same behavior in them that you see in the bedwinch community. You know what I'm saying? Where it's just
Yeah.
all about downplaying and talking down on their people, and oh, look at I got me a white woman. Look, I got me an Asian woman, and you little darkies over there. Those little darkies, those are your mothers. You know what I'm saying? Those are your sisters. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, I have a problem when they start throwing black women under the bus. However, at their core, they do make some valid points. You know what I'm saying? As far as what we talked about before, women abroad being raised to prepare. I think Sister Mila Renee said in the comments something
Yes.
about
Yeah.
that. Whereas, they are raised and
Yeah.
taught they are raised to be wives. She just said it just now. They
Yep.
are raised to be wives.
Yeah.
Women here are not. They're
Yeah.
raised to be career women. And especially in the black community, they start learning that neck waving, I don't need no man bullshit way too early. And unfortunately, a lot of the older women that are that are lifelong relationship failures or whatever the case may be, I'm not necessarily ready to call them, leftover women or whatever the case may be, but they
Can
haven't done well in
can, can
relationships.
I can I do it? I do it?
I
Would you
guess you
please?
can. I
Who
mean,
pick me?
some of them are.
The
Some of
leftover
them,
women's.
some of them are, but a lot of them, they just really they have a lot of built up hatred, and they haven't been taught to heal. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so, like, a lot of these women, man, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, they've been. I think there was some survey that was done, said something like a fourth of black women have been molested. You know what I'm saying? And all of that came from within their own families. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's significant. You have to look at that, and a lot of women that I've dated, that's one of the first questions that I ask. Have you ever had any type of molestation or whatever? Once I get comfortable with them, I need to know this because
Yeah.
that is something that doesn't really go away. It's kind of,
Yeah.
from what I've understood, it kind of stays with you forever, and you need to know how to counter that type of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if there needs to be, we need to go to take you somewhere to have someone sit down and talk to you, and whatever. I need to know, I need to understand that. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
just broadly speaking, that point that, women here are taught absolutely, actually, what women here are taught is anti-marriage. They are taught to be, you know, the it and the end all be all. I can be, you hear them say all the time, I can be the mama and the daddy. Oh, get me a gift for Father's Day because I'm the mama and the daddy. This type of bullshit. This is what, a lot of women hear because older women failed in their relationships. Now, unfortunately, they kind of want the younger women to fail in theirs. So they give them very bad advice. Look at what they're doing with Lori Harvey, telling her to keep going out here hopping around from this dude to that dude. That's not what you're supposed to be telling the young women. And there was a post that I made. I tagged y'all in it. Remember that? Where the young sister was like, these older women have failed us. She said it. These older women have failed us, and that's why I don't listen to them, because they always give us this bad advice to go out here and be rebellious and basically get our face dirty. You understand what I'm saying? So that we're not suitable for marriage when we get older, when we should be trying to get married while we're young, while we're at our peak value. That's when we should be trying to get married. That's when we should be out here, finding the right person and settling down, So this whole hot girl summer till you're 35 bullshit, you know what I'm saying? Like that's going to stop. One way or the other, it's going to stop because you're going to hit the wall eventually anyway. And, the younger sisters are even starting to see it now. Wow, why am I listening to you? You're a lifelong relationship failure. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. What you want me to say?
It's funny that you said that because I had a conversation earlier today on Sister's Post, and she shared a picture of I can't remember who it was, but someone who was just doing something that was really inappropriate, and she was literally pregnant with the child and everything. And I said something to the effect about, I'd be, yeah, Kiki.
Kiki Palmer, huh?
And I said something to the effect of, she is not the flex that I thought she was. I'd be livid if this was my wife, especially if she was pregnant with my child.
Right.
And some old ancient broad from days of Negro spirituals past gonna comment looking like Harriet Tubman Jr. talking about, well, I guess it's a good thing she's not married to you. Marriage, being a wife isn't a flex. And I said marriage isn't a flex. And I said, ma'am, I'm sorry that you're hurting your damage, but marriage to being a husband to a good woman is definitely a flex. Being a wife to a good man is definitely a flex. And she just started emotionally vomiting from that. Mind you, this isn't her post. This is somebody else's post.
Right.
I didn't address her, said nothing to her. She just felt so moved to come comment under my comment.
Right.
And just vomit up all her bitterness on me. I'm like, oh, hold up, ma'am. Excuse me, trash can over there. And I really could have gone in on her, but I did my best to be patient and long suffering with her. And I was like, look, when you are married to a solid person, when you have a good person, you have a good wife, a good husband, you're damn right that's a flex.
Absolutely.
That's one of the highest honors there is, to have this amazing woman here as your ride or die, this amazing man as your ride or die. You're damn right that's a flex.
Beautiful.
And she talked about, and she went through the whole litany. You can probably name it. She's like, well, I don't need no husband. I have my son who's well taken care of by me and his father. I have a high paying career. I have a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and
so
yet
she pulled her dick out, basically.
Basically, the whole I don't need a man, strong, independent. And I'm like, but ma'am, here you are bitter. And all I can say is, I feel for you. I just hope that you are not vomiting this nonsense into the younger men and younger women in your family. I hope that there's no niece, no young cousin, no son, because you have a son. I hope that your son doesn't hear you talking like this, because and I didn't mention this part, but you do have some of these boys that grow up and they become some of these passport bros. They become some of these dudes that have no interest in a black woman. Why? Because the first black woman in their life, their mother, showed them everything they don't want to deal with.
Yeah, that's real.
This is my representative of what black womanhood is. I don't want this.
It's
Mm.
I
sad.
want anything but this.
It's
And I've
sad.
seen some sisters crying because, the son is in middle school or in high school. He's talking about how, the black girls don't like him or he thinks the black girls. Why don't you like the black girls? Well, they're ghetto, they're loud, they're doing all this. And these women are crushed and heartbroken that their sons aren't interested in black women. And they can't say it's nothing they got in the media. It's because he's seeing something that he
You.
doesn't resonate with. And in a lot of
Hmm.
cases, he's seeing his mother in them, but
You.
he can't tell his mother, you ratchet. I don't like that. Or because he has that tie, he's conflicted, but he just knows, I love mom. I'm stuck with her, but I'm not going to replicate this anywhere else.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I think the
You got
difference,
to heal.
one of the key differences, very, very eloquently stated, sir. And I think one of the differences is, and I'm going to keep beating this drum until people start dancing to it. You know, with black men, like the passport brothers we're talking about, they have this type of, they have this type of vitriol also. However,
Mm.
we are calling them out. We are nailing them to the cross for their cooning and their samboing and whatever the case may be. We point out, yeah, they do have a point, in the foundation of what it is that they believe, but you ain't gotta dump on sisters to believe that. Okay, but we're
Mm.
calling them out for what it is that they're doing that's just so left. But on the other side, sisters come out here and they cape for these women that constantly dump on black men. They cape for these women that constantly exhibit this horrific behavior in public. They cape for the women that celebrate all the things that you should not be celebrating. They cape for women that hop from dick to dick. They cape for them and they make excuses for why it's okay for them to do whatever it is that they're doing. It's very different. We're calling out the bad behavior. We're telling the younger brothers and even the brothers that's out there that are of age, hey, we don't need to move like this. This is absolutely wrong. This is absolutely where we don't need to be. What's going on, Brad Boss? What up? What up? But you know, the brothers are saying that. The sisters, not that none of them are doing it. Some of them are. Sister Mila Renee, who's on here right now, she's good for it. She called him out with her chest. There's no fence straddling. No, I'm trying to be the popular chick, and I'm just trying to keep these chicks on my side. No, sisters, we gotta tighten up. You know what I'm saying? And I think more sisters need to come out with their chest and call out this type of behavior that we're seeing, because the difference is that it's only one side where you really see people calling it out. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem. When you don't realize that you have a problem and nobody's willing to talk about the fact that you have a problem and there are things that you need to fix and correct, well, then the problem just gets worse and it just gets worse and it just gets worse. And then all of a sudden you have just something of gargantuan proportion that you just can't control no more. And that's where, unfortunately, a lot of the sisters, they're just kind of in that space now. But yeah.
I've asked, when these kind of conversations go back and forth, and it's always this dance about, well, the men need to get together. Well, the men would get together, the women had got it together. Well, the women would get together, the men would have gotten together. One of the questions I've always asked, and unfortunately, I found myself having to ask this to the sisters more than the brothers, and it's always the same question, and I never get any response that makes sense.
Mm.
In most cases, I get silence.
Mm.
You say that you're waiting for the men to get it together.
Yeah.
Okay. Based on where you currently are right now, where the women currently are right now, if we were
Yeah.
able to pull off some kind of magic stunt, that we were able to snap our little Infinity Stone gauntlet, get our Thanos on, and
Yeah.
get every single brother whipped into shape. All the issues and faults that we have with men now, men aren't doing this, men aren't in this position, men aren't doing that. If we were to get all these men perfect, the perfect men, how many women would be ready to go right now to go ahead and pair up with them and make something functional and magical, wonderful happen?
Mm.
If everyone were to get it together, where would their counterparts be? Because it's not going to happen overnight. You got bad habits. You have bad behaviors. And I saw a sister say earlier today about some other stuff. You can't just, it's very rare to go ahead and take on a new habit and get it and master it in one fell swoop. You have
Right.
to build those, it's literally a biological process. You have to repeat these actions, whether it's eating right, whether it's working out, whether it's studying and learning. You have to do these things repetitively over and
Right.
over and over again. And when you do that, your brain is literally building new pathways to go ahead and make this new behavior normal
Right.
because the abnormal. Your body literally has to grow literally to accommodate this new thing. So we're talking
Exactly.
about being better.
Correct.
Well, you want these men to be better. Who they supposed to get with you? You'd run them right back into the ground.
Yeah, and that's a perfect point you made, and it lines
Great
up
point.
with what I had to display, and I'm gonna take that time to display it now since you hit it on the
Go
head.
for it. Let's
All
get it,
right,
man.
so it says some of us are looking for the caliber of woman or man that we aren't ready for mentally or emotionally. Do the work on yourself. Stop showing up broken and expecting that person to fix you or wait for you to be whole again.
Ooh wee.
It is
Woo.
a dangerous thing. It is dangerous. Whether
Listen.
it's relationships or material stuff, it's dangerous to want things and not be able to or be willing to work to deserve and earn them. It's dangerous to do that because that's when you start doing things that are dangerous in order to acquire those things. That's
Right.
how you got people jacking other people, robbing other people, sleeping with other people's man or whatever, sleeping with other people's woman or whatever. When you want something and you're unwilling to qualify for it, it's dangerous.
It
Even if
is.
you don't do those things, it creates negativity inside your chest. It creates jealousy and envy and spite. You see other people and you start undercutting them and backbiting them and talking about them on the low because you just hate them. It's dangerous to want things that you are unable or unwilling to earn or work for. Your,
Well,
your your
Exactly.
reach shouldn't be exceeding your grasp. If you can only afford to grab right here, don't try to get your hand all the way up here. You're just going to make yourself depressed. Look, you are. When you
Yeah.
spend time fixing, and they talk about it on social media too, on places like Instagram,
yeah.
people who are watching all these people who are fronting, they see the vacations, the cars, the jewelry, the clothes, everything else, and people are literally making themselves depressed because they're wishing their life was like that. And in most of those cases, these people ain't living like that. They just
Yeah.
flex in one way or other just for views. But here you are literally making yourself sick because you're not at this level. It's dangerous to want what is outside of your reach.
And
Cool that down. Either step up your work ethic and get to that place, or make peace where you at and go ahead and take advantage of what's around it. There are some real good finds, some real good looks in the bargain bin. All right.
Mm.
There's
Mm.
some real good value picks out there.
yeah.
Everything ain't got to be a 9 and a 10. Now, if you had a 9 and a 10 level, then go ahead. Shop according to your budget. Do you? If you can afford Hermes, get
Yeah.
Hermes. If Balenciaga is pocket change for you, go get your Balenciaga. But if you know
Yeah.
all you got is Marshall's money, all you got is Ross money, all you got is TJ Maxx money, you can find some good stuff in them stores. Go ahead and get what you can afford.
Real
Exactly.
talk.
So,
You know.
fellas, the reason
Right.
why we're here telling you this one of the reasons why we created Manifestations is we don't go hard on women. And the reason we don't go hard on women is because a lot of women, they have issues taking advice from men and they have issues taking advice from women. They don't want to correct their behavior. Accountability is very much lackluster in their community. So, in order for us to get better women, we have to require better. We have low energy as men, and we're basically reaching down to the lowest bearing fruit and settling for that because we don't want to climb to the top where the fruit that's on the top is worth climbing for. And I
Agreed.
say that because we have to analyze the profiles, we have to analyze the mentality of these women, different things, because a lot of the women that are making the noise and complaining are not worthy women majority of the time. They're not worthy women. You have women, and you got to pay attention to what they post. I seen women on social media posting this. I don't want no man that's making TikToks. I'm sorry. Go sell drugs.
Wow.
This is a meme that is flying around on
Wow.
Facebook, and I see a lot of women, especially black women,
Reposting.
posting that.
Mm-hmm.
I see them posting this. I don't want to see no sad stuff on Valentine's Day. You knew that man had a man. Why is it that every time homosexuality is always thrown at men as if it's so condescending? But the minute he says something about your gay friend or your gay family member, you want to pop off. I
Right.
think women who post those things, that's a slap in the face to your family members and your friends because you're
Mm-hmm.
using it to lower down another man by saying stuff like that, but yet you're going behind you're in your face of your family members and your friend, and you're boosting them up and you're applauding them for coming out the closet. It doesn't make sense. That's where the phony energy comes from, and I see a lot of that in these women empowerment spaces. I see a
Right.
lot of that when a lot of these women go to the clubs and they see a guy and they're backstabbing the guy low key, and I'm watching them backstab each other for a guy that's in the club. Like, this is your bona fide friend doing this to you, or you're doing it to your bona fide friend. This is where the phony energy comes from. So,
Right.
fellas, you got to watch these things. You got to take notes of this, because these are the type of women that you have to stay away from. And then you don't have women that will come out here and say things like this. You don't have women that are posting this, right? You're not having women that's promoting this. They don't make them have you ate yet women anymore. Remember,
Mm-hmm.
back in the days, women used to make sure that a man was straight. It
Right.
wasn't about being a pick me, like they sit back and get on women now and try to,
Right.
basically downplay or throw women now because, if they're catered to a man, they call them pick me. It wasn't about being a pick me. It wasn't about you trying to show up and be better than all the women in the room. You just had a decent love and care and to make sure that that man was straight. First thing women back in the day used to say was, "You ate yet?" I remember going to women's houses and different women used to tell me that as soon as I come there, "Yeah, you straight, you ate, you good, you
Mm-hmm.
want something to drink?" You don't have that now. I was just
Very
talking to
rare.
my homeboy. My homeboy picked me up today, and he was telling me, he's very successful, makes six figures. He has custody of his children, and he says dating. He's like, "Yo, the dating scene is just, man, it's just crazy for me right now." And I was like, "Yeah, I know it's bizarre for a lot of people because a lot of men are wakening up and they're not tolerating to be the slaves that their fathers or grandfathers once were. You don't
Right.
get the off-rip privileges anymore like men used to do back in the day. You have to
Mm-hmm.
earn those now. So because we're making women earn they have a problem with that, right?
Right.
So now he's telling me, man, he's like, "Yo, I'm just out here trying to find a decent woman that is about that." He said he was talking to a woman, and here's the phony energy that I was telling you guys about.
Mm.
So he said when he first started talking to the lady, he was telling her, "Hey, I have my children, and my children call me all the time." And she was like, "Oh, that is so sweet. A man take care of his child and this and that."
Uh.
He said, "Okay, cool, vibing with her." His son calls him frequently. She catches an attitude and was like, "Why does your son call you so often?"
Mm.
And he snapped on her like, "What? This is my child. You
Mm-hmm.
talking about why he doesn't call? This is my son. This ain't nobody. This ain't not a girl. This is not a random dude. This is not my homeboy. This is my son. I got to
Right.
make sure he's straight." And then he said he just never talked to her since then. And I was like, "Yo, you did the best thing ever," because it's so crazy that on the flip side of that, women would want you to be more compassionate when they have their children and their
Right.
children calls them or their time is consumed with their child. you know. But when it's on the flip side,
Well,
it's like, nah, you don't get those privileges. You don't have that type of, and you don't get that safety net. You know what I'm
I know
saying?
you're not
It's
pointing
my
out a double
time.
standard.
Yes,
I know
mhm.
you're
no,
not pointing
yeah,
out a double standard. You can't
one
do
of
that.
exactly,
one of the
exactly,
first things I tell you is you got to understand that I am a mother first. My child comes first before anybody else. And if you
Oh,
can't get with that, you can kick the neck
yeah.
roll and everything. Now all of a sudden it's
Dang,
why your
yeah.
son call you all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
exactly,
but then you
Got
be
some
wondering who you dating all these deadbeat daddies.
right.
They know he got
exactly,
kids.
Exactly.
Then when he pop up
exactly,
on them and pull the same move, all of a sudden it's I didn't know he was this way. A word.
It's like
You
you
know
exactly.
what I'm
never
saying?
knew,
Tell
and
us
you
And then
more.
never.
they have the other incident he talked about was um, I told him that another reason why a lot of black women, and I'll just say black women because we deal with black women, but women have a savior syndrome, right? So
Mm,
you wonder why a lot of women pick up guys that don't really are up to par. They're not the stallion type guy, the guy who goes out there and gets things popping. Those aren't majority of the times. A lot of women aren't really looking for those guys. They're
right.
looking for the guy that they could take care of, the guy that they can, say they did this and that and brag to their homegirl about.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, they're just like some of these guys that's out here that want to take care of somebody just to brag about them taking care of somebody,
Mhm.
opposed to them meeting a woman that has financial means and don't really need them in that area, and they would like get rid of that woman to go get a woman that begs on him all day. Is a
Yeah.
savior syndrome that runs rampant with us. So he said that he was dating this woman, and just a $50, it was a $50 phone. It was an old phone he had. Her phone was messed up. And he said, hey, he just met her not too long ago. And he said, hey, you could use this phone until you get your new phone.
Yeah.
And she got offended by that, right? And he said there was another woman that he was dealing with,
Uh,
and he had bought the son some shoes, and she was like, "Yo, I don't need you to buy him anything, and why would you do that?" And she was like, he was like, "Man, she spazzed on me like I did something wrong." I was like, I'm just making sure that her son has some shoes because I have a son and I have a daughter. So I make sure, that they have their footwork, footwear be straight. So if I go and buy it and I bought it for them, what is the problem? I'm not asking you for anything in return. I'm not looking for none of that. He was like, he did that and she cut him off
wow.
like, like that. Like, and I'm like, it's women, some women out here that just feel offended when guys do things for them, but they will bleed their purses for a guy that don't mean them no good. They love the Jodies. There's a show on BET Plus called Sisters, and one of the sisters on there
Uh,
named Karen, and Karen is in love with Zach. And Zach, when she was with Zach didn't she was buying Zach things and doing all of this for Zach. Zach ended up getting some money. They broke up. She had pushed Zach away, told him she don't want to deal with him, found a new dude. Zach ended up getting in some money. He found another woman that he's in love with called Zatima. Zatima now, him and Zatima is running and they doing things. She ends up being pregnant because Zach and the other guy, they had sex with Karen around the same time. The baby is found out. She knows that the baby's for the other guy, but she's saying that it's for Zach. She won't let go of Zach. She gets into it with his new girl. And it's like everybody's like, yo, you got this guy here that loves you, and he's tolerating all of this. Another simp like behavior that this dude is doing for this woman, because I would have cut ties a long time ago.
mm,
Yeah,
But
there's got to be a
he's
TV
doing
show.
he's doing
gotta
all
be
of this
Tyler
stuff.
Perry. Mm,
Yeah, doing all of this stuff, catering to her. Man, I'm telling you, this man going above and beyond and watching this woman like go crazy over this dude, and he's in love with her. And that's the mentality. There's so many caring women out here that have a guy that wants to love them so hard, so much, but yet they devote their energy to the dude that don't want them, or the dude that they end up spending way more money on than they ever did with any other guy. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? And that's the reality that we face out here. So a lot of times women they'll downplay it and be like, well, some of you guys think you guys are good guys when y'all really not. No, there's a lot of guys out here that's really good like that, but y'all don't want that. Y'all want the bad boy, y'all want the image, y'all want the Jodies. And that's the base reality for a lot of women. And in the process of it, it's frustrating to a lot of guys that's out here. And this is why Kevin Samuels always break down the stats of that a lot of these women are reproducing with the low percentage of men that come out of jail versus the 50 something percentile of black men that are making good salaries up to six figures or more, that are childless, that don't have children, that are looking for wives out here. But those are not the ones you're procreating with. You're procreating with the dudes hopping in and out of jail. The ones hopping in and out of jail is creating more of the population than the ones out here doing the work. And
Didn't
that's the
that girl?
base reality of it.
Didn't that girl say on her
It
meme? Didn't she say on her meme, "I don't want no guy to make TikTok videos. Go sell some drugs." Didn't she say that? Yeah. I mean, these women, a lot of them
The
are
women lusting after goats from Power.
real talk.
Yup.
Yeah. I mean, that really did it for me. I've never liked the Tasha character from Power because I think it was the second or third episode. This man is trying to go legit, and she's like, "Nah, go sell dope." You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, really? This is how they
Fast
write the
life.
character. I mean, it was just toxic on another level. You know what I'm saying? But you
Yeah.
have women out here like that. Not only wives, you have mothers
Yes.
telling their kids to drop out of school and go sell dope.
Yes.
Have that happening. You
Yes.
understand what I'm saying? I grew up in a neighborhood like that. You
Yes.
understand where like this was a prevalent thing. It's not a one-off. So
Yes.
like, yeah, a lot of times, the mentality of
Yeah.
those that we grow up with, those that we grow up under, and the type of things that, home is responsible, want to be responsible. No one wants to
Yep,
be who is responsible if they themselves who do not want to be responsible, if they themselves
that's
don't want to
fact.
be. That's real
Yeah.
talk. We have a problem with accountability at the end of the day.
It does.
I
We
was
We
actually,
do.
it's, I think that's Rick. Shout out Rick. I was
Yeah,
actually
that's
going to
Rick.
say something about that regarding what you were saying and about that Karen chick.
yeah.
Typically, when you have women that do that, and of course it's not a hard and fast rule, but by and large, it's usually two type of women that are in those kind of situations where they're being paymasters to dudes like that. You
Mm,
typically have the masculine broads who basically think they're women with all natural strap-ons, where their testosterone is so going and flowing that basically they see themselves as men in relationships. They want to be the protector and the provider. They want to
mm,
be, big daddy. They want to put the bills on the table. A man
mm-hmm.
miss a reach for the bill or try to do anything to assert his masculinity like that. She gets offended because now you're here competing against her masculinity. And
Threatening
she
her.
got this. Usually, those kinds of women they're not going to be comfortable or they're going to avoid altogether masculine dudes who are operating in their manhood because
Yeah.
it's going to make them uneasy. You
Yeah.
could, a pair of fake Jordans, a fake Coach burst, fake can exist and go undetected for a long time until the real thing pull up. I remember it was, I think it was Cat Williams who said, who was cracking
Yeah.
on Chrysler 300s. He said, people buying Chrysler 300s because they're saying it looked like a Phantom. And like, yeah, it looked like a Phantom until a real Phantom pull up. Then
Real
all,
talk.
Yeah.
then all of a sudden you realize you got an appointment to make. You run late for something. You got to get going now
Right.
because the
Yeah.
Right.
jig is up. So
Real
those
talk.
are the first kind of women. The second kind of women who are attracted to those dudes, and you have a lot more of these than the masculine broads. The problem, and this goes back to what I said before. These dudes of status, the high value men, The as just to quote Kevin Samuels, the 3'6" dudes. He's six
Yeah.
feet tall, makes six figures, and he got 6 feet. He got 6 inches or better, whatever. Those
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
type of dudes, they know what they walk in the door with. And
Mm-hmm.
so again,
right.
they have standards. You can't just come any old kind of way and be any old kind of thing. They're gonna expect and insist on having a certain level they're gonna deal with. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of these sisters, especially the ones who don't stack up and don't qualify, they know
Mm-hmm.
damn well they're not even gonna try and deal with those dudes, but they still want that kind. So what they try and do is they try and cheat the system, and they go and try and get a DIY, do-it-yourself, Home Depot, Ace Hardware, renovation project. So they try to get any old regular dude who's
All the
down on
time.
his dick, down on his luck, and then they're gonna try and do a pretty woman with him. They're gonna try and boss him up. They're gonna try and get him back in school. They're gonna try and get him a nice job, hook him up.
Yeah.
They're gonna try and build a man to get in there. So
Get
they're
him a
gonna try
nice.
and get him to 6 figures.
Yeah.
They can't do much with the height and the dick size and everything, but they're gonna try and get him up there to where he's this high top notch dude. So now they figure they would have found a way to sneak their way in and gotten this on the back end. But
Mm-hmm.
what they don't understand is men are men everywhere. So even if a dude is dusty, even if a dude is down on his luck, dudes will typically resent that kind of mothering and babying from a woman. So what'll
Yeah.
happen is dude will sit there and some dudes will have integrity and be like, you know what, no, I'm straight. I don't need all this from you, and they'll be gone. But some dudes who are users will sit back there and they'll take that, and the whole time they'll be smashing down another chick behind her back. And as
Uh-huh.
soon as they get on their place where they good, they've arrived, they don't need her for anything else.
It's a
They're gonna
wrap.
drop her ass and they're gonna get another woman, and not only another woman, but it's usually gonna be a woman who is not at her socioeconomic level, who didn't know him before, and now they're gonna act like they always been this dude because he doesn't want anybody knowing where he came from. They don't want no one to see the struggling dude who didn't have nothing but some holes in his drawers and a white beater on.
It
Yeah.
always blows up in their face.
Because that's how dudes are. But they don't understand. You can't cheat the system.
Yeah.
Ain't no hacks. You either gonna get where you're supposed to be, or you're gonna get what you can.
Yeah.
To go back to an earlier point that Ant was making, I think we could just sum it up in a very simplistic fashion and say, you have to become what it is that you want to attract. People have
Mm-hmm.
told me that all my life, and at the end of the day, that's what it is. You have to become that person. People want this pie in the sky ass person, but you want to still be mediocre. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And that could just mediocrity, knows no bounds. When you start talking about the full person in all aspects, how the person looks, how the person treats you, what their social economic status is like, whether or not they have children, for people who, because the people who just don't date people who have children, or they have requirements, or their children have to be grown, or whatever your standard is that
Mm-hmm.
you want, you know, you need to become that person so that you're worthy of that person. You can attract that person and keep that person because it makes sense. People think that people in the dating and relationship realm are stupid. They like Bobby said, they're always
Oh,
trying to trick the system. The simplest way around it, to speak to the title of this show, you know, in order for you to stop scooping at the bottom of the barrel, you have to get off of the plane of the bottom of the
Yeah.
barrel yourself. For a lot of people, out here, and the reason why people are scooping at the bottom of the barrel is because they aren't much better.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? If we want to keep it a buck, and that's not to say that there are not good people out there, but I mean, I watch these dating shows, Kevin Samuels I used to watch, and now I watch Kendra G, these maniacs calling into just with their grandiose ideas of this person that they desire that doesn't exist at all, but especially doesn't exist for them. When
Yeah.
you start looking at the type of luggage and the type of mentality and just the type of overall low life person some of these people are, is bad comedy, bro. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? You're looking for all of
real
this
talk.
and
Yeah.
presenting what about you is going to attract that type of person to you.
But you know,
Exactly.
that's something else that some people do. And I usually see this more with women than with dudes. But
Yeah.
sometimes you see these people who you know that are definite, like they're definite twos. Maybe on a good day, they wake up in a good mood. Everything goes in their favor. It's their lucky day. They got
Okay.
their lucky draws on. They got a rabbit's paw. They got a four-leaf clover, and they're stuck in their back and teeth or whatever. It's just a lucky day. There are four maybe, but these
Maybe.
two, four on an amazing, perfect, flawless day. When
Right.
you hear them listing all these requirements they have for a mate, and they're basically asking for a whole entire 8 or a 10, I
Right.
found that a lot of people like to do that. That's a psychological trick for them. That's a mental shield
Right.
they put up.
Mm-hmm.
So they say that they want this person, whatever, and because this is what they deserve, and they're not selling for less than this because they know their worth, right? You know,
Right. Of
Mhm.
course.
they too, but they know their worth, but they think they deserve all this. But the truth is, deep inside, they know damn well they don't deserve that person. But
Right.
what they're doing is they're setting the bar this high for themselves and then saying, well, the reason I'm single, the reason I don't have what I want is because no one is at my level. No one deserves me, whatever. When
Yeah.
the truth is, the fact is, you really ain't that dude. You really ain't that chick. But it will hurt too much to admit that. It's too much work to go ahead and build yourself up to get to where you could actually maybe be at least in a better position to qualify this. So instead, you just raise the bar so damn high that no one can basically meet the standard. And so the problem isn't you. The problem is the quality of the opposite sex. The opposite sex is so terrible. Everyone's horrible. There's no men worthy of you. There's no women worthy of you. Whatever you're just this person.
Yeah.
Everybody else is just horrible.
Real talk.
So you got to watch
Exactly.
that too. Some people really just they will do and say anything to avoid looking at that mofo in the mirror. And that's the problem, the biggest problem personally for people when they try to do all these escapist things. I'm going to divest. I'm going to look for love abroad or whatever. That works only if you're genuinely not able to find what it is you're looking for over here, or if you're just open. But
Right.
if the problem is you, the problem with going elsewhere, you could Elon Musk and Bill Gates can get they SpaceX and stuff programs popping. You could go all over the universe looking for love, but if you the problem, then no matter where you go bring that mofo with you.
What it
Mhm.
is, man, is you.
Yeah.
Every time you look in the mirror, every time you turn around like your shadow, that mofo right there. You
Yeah.
are the problem, and until you
You
do the
are.
self work, nothing's gonna get better for you.
And
Exactly.
I'll put that
So we
out there
got
as a challenge, to y'all
yeah.
out
So we
there
got
that,
it.
keep
You
having that
can't
issue.
win.
Real talk. Go ahead,
So
Ann.
we want to look at some of the people in the pool. So I'm gonna show you
Uh-oh.
uh, some of the people some of the
Oh,
people that's complaining in the
Wait,
pool.
oh,
I'm gonna show
should we get a
you.
hazmat suit, bro? Where my
I'm
mask?
gonna show you why.
Where my COVID mask?
I'm gonna, I'm gonna show you examples of why we have problems on both sides of the pool, right?
okay.
So with
Help us, Lord.
women, y'all picking low energy fruit men, and then you have to bring them home to mama. So here's some of the guys that's in the dating pool that y'all complain about.
Oh,
All right, so that's some of the guys that's some of the guys that y'all picking up from the low hanging fruit, and here's
Hey,
some
no
of the
disrespect
women.
to that brother, man. I'm sorry.
is that a Barbie doll? Still, son. And the lighter. Okay. That extension cord. Yo. Way. Oh, that's them. That's them, all right. Yeah. God.
Dos, tres, cuatro. Un, dos, tres, cuatro. Vamos. Un, dos, tres, cuatro. Un, dos, tres, cuatro. Un, dos, tres.
So yeah, that is
Woo. Real
definitely
tears.
some of the dating pool
The back
and
of
the
my head is
reason
hurting
why.
so bad right now. Oh my god.
Hey, let me tell you
Really
what's
couldn't
funny.
say
What's
my
really
head is
funny.
hurting. Ooh.
What's really funny
I
is a
got a
lot of these
headache.
people out here, they really look like that. Let me tell you something. Real
Exactly.
talk. Back in the days,
Exactly.
I'm not gonna stay on this too long, but I gotta go there. Back in the
Yeah.
days, man, if women didn't get anything else right, they got the look right. Yo,
Yeah.
have you looked around lately? Yo, these oh my sweet baby Jesus. They just be running around here looking all kind of crazy with them damn door shutter eyelashes, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Garage door open the eyelashes, bro. Who likes that? You know what I'm
They
saying?
got slip on
Exactly.
wet jet sitting
I mean,
on their eyes, man.
bruh, they got
Exactly.
more tats than Wiz Khalifa. That's not feminine. What is wrong? I be looking at some of these chicks. I be like, what is wrong with you? And then the other one with all the lumpy butt. I call them the lumpy butts. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? The chicks with all
The,
the surgery and all this, and they shit is all
yeah.
disproportionate. It just look fucking ridiculous. I mean, who's dating that? You know what I'm saying?
I I
Who
was at the
ten
gym a
pounds of
couple of
makeup?
weeks ago and I saw this chick on a machine and that was the fakest ass I had ever seen. And she there with the same little butterfly metamorphosis looking eyelashes and everything else with the little mascara on. And it took everything because I was already tired. I,
Mhm.
me and the people been sparring for like a good hour and a half. I'm beat tired. I'm dead tired. It took
Yeah.
Mhm.
the last little bit of energy I had to make that locker room without dying. And as soon as I got past the door, I started cracking up.
My
I'm like,
God,
y'all can't be serious.
it's just
Like
overkill,
what are you
bruh.
doing?
The overkill
Why?
is the overkill. God damn, ladies who are listening,
Yeah.
to all well-meaning ladies who just want to attract a nice, decent guy. That ain't the way you do it.
Mhm.
And I said I got into it with a
No.
sister that I'm actually real cool with a few weeks ago, a little bit. You know, we had a friendly exchange about this type of thing, about presentation
Mhm.
and how
Yeah.
presentation matters. If you go presenting
Yeah.
yourself like that, ain't no nice guy gonna come holler at you. It's not gonna happen.
No.
You know, and to these sisters, particularly if you are older sister, it's an old chick out here right now. She's keep talking about she can't find no man. I'm not gonna get into the particulars or whatever the case may be. She's an older chick, attractive chick, but she's older. But every other week she's putting up these thirst trap pics, and everything is just, my titties out, my ass out. You ain't gonna attract no nice guy like that. It's just not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Like guys, who are well-meaning, especially an older guy. If she keeps complaining, she keeps attracting younger guys. That's because your mentality is such that you think this is the only way to attract men. And so, you're putting this energy out there, and your return is going to come back, a whole bunch of younger guys, because older, more sophisticated men, a bunch of thirst trap pictures of you is not, they can see, especially when you already have a track record. You know what I'm saying? You want to kind of get out of that. You want to break out of that. You're clearly not having the success that you would have thought you would have had, and you still keep doing the same thing.
Exactly.
So that ain't it. It was hilarious, but you got a lot of these people out here. The funniest part, the scariest part, I should say, these people really look like that. They can't catch unless they got on their costume. They think this whole ridiculous costume, fake breasts, fake ass, dragonfly wing eyelashes. They got more tats than Wiz Khalifa. Bruh, it's repulsive. Like, I see it and I cringe. It's nothing sexy about that.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
And she's always
you ain't sending out the message you think you're sending, or you're not sending out the message you really want to be sending.
You're not.
Exactly.
You're not. You always
Exactly.
present
You
yourself
communicating,
ass out.
I don't like, if any woman ever looked at me and said that they would want to deal with somebody like me.
Yeah.
Off rip, your nails cannot be way out here. It's unsanitary for me. I don't feel comfortable eating from you because there's no way you can wipe your butt or you walk around without stuff being under your nails at all. There's nothing you can tell me. You know what I'm saying? It's unsanitary. So just thinking about that would turn me off. Right. I wouldn't want no food from you. I wouldn't want even, for you to massage or touch my face. Like, that's just something that I require, and it might be something a lot of men require, and when we can look at that for the physical part, but also the mental part. That is something that plagues women as well. So you guys will fail on this physical part and you'll fail on the mental part too. And I say that because this is what happens, right? So here you have a guy who's dating a woman and he's bringing her lavish gifts, right? So the Louis Vuitton, she's got Gucci sandals, and she has something else she wanted as a watch. That what he has in his hands, from the green bag, the Louis bag to the sandals, is over $1,000 in gifts for her.
Easy. Over $2,000.
You see her reaction. Her face is lit all the way up. The reason I didn't play the video because the video came with music, and we don't want to strike the page and definitely take down this great episode that we're giving you. We don't want to jeopardize that. So I took a screenshot of it. So look at her face when he brings the gifts. And he was smiling bringing the gifts because, you want to see your girl extra happy and show her and, show her with gifts and lavish her with gifts. And that's one of the best feelings you can have, your girl being appreciative of it. Now, when it comes to her giving him a gift, look at the difference. He's looking like, what the fuck is this? I done spent over $1,000 and all you came to bring me was some damn socks?
Yeah, generally speaking.
He lucky he got no socks. He lucky she ain't lay on the back and just pop it over and say, here you go.
Yeah, because they'll tell you that too,
But she's smiling at him and his reaction is like, yeah, what? And this is a very common thing because when it comes down to Father's Day and men's birthday, and I know a lot of women are going to go out here and say, "Oh yeah, well you just got to find a woman that'll spend gifts on you." No, that's not it. We do have women out here that do spend gifts on their men. We
Sure.
get that, but there's a
Good.
lot of women out here that the basic necessities are shirts, mugs, socks, ties. That's what they get, and I know that's what they get because it's a running joke every time. And this is not just black men, this is just men in general from all races. That's what they get. They get the basic necessities, the tie, the socks, you know what I'm saying? Just basic stuff like that. And it's repetitive, and it's like you want to show your man appreciation. So,
Correct.
ladies, you have to go above. If your guy's taking care of you, go above and beyond because you want a man to go above and beyond for you. And I feel like when we say that, a lot of people will be like, oh, men want to be treated like women. No, it's not that. Men
No.
want to get the reciprocal energy, just
Well,
like we talked about earlier, where the woman was saying, all right, where are the men? I mean, where are the women that say, have you ate yet? They just
right.
want the reciprocal energy, like, yo, to make sure that I'm straight, make sure that I'm happy, to make sure I'm good, because I'm going to provide that for you. And that goes back to what Major was saying earlier about and Bobby was saying earlier about the equality of what it is you bring to the table. You want things to the table, you should be bringing the same as well. You want the energy that you're receiving, that you want to receive, you have to provide the same energy. It's reciprocal. Men aren't going with the regular norm that we've been going for years. Your grandfather went through, their father went through. Men are starting to wise up and saying, look, I'm sacrificing myself. I'm killing myself to make sure these women are straight. And some of them dip out on me and might go out there and cheat, even if I'm faithful. We're talking about faithful men. Some of them might not be into me, but they might like my money. And a lot of times, some guys lose out and they're tired of losing out. They're tired of being on that side. And they're like, you know what? Show me what it is that you bring to the table.
Right.
Men, at the end of the day, men are the prize. I know that's going to ruffle a lot of feathers, but at the end of the day, men are the prize because you look to men for leadership, you look to men for financial gain, you look for men to make sure that the household is structured, you look for men to take out the heavy duty work, to maintain the house, to make sure everything is around it. You look for men to give you knowledge and guidance in the proper way to make you stronger. So the man is the key part of your whole thing. Is the man has to be tip top on point for you to feel comfortable. If that's the case, then the man is the prize because everybody is out here, all the women are out here looking for that type of man. You can find a woman to put in our situation to fit our system, but you can't put a man in your system to fit yours because a man that of that caliber is not going to be everywhere like that. So with that being said, is that women got to understand how that correlates to what they want, and in order for you to go out here and get what it is you want, and when you get it, you make sure that you maximize and do everything possible to keep that man, and he's going to do everything possible to keep you once he knows that you're the perfect woman in his system. And that is a perfect example of that would be our brother Major, who ended up doing that. He took his wife to the next level, and that was they solidified that journey by taking it to the next notch. That's the end goal. That's where you want to get to. He didn't pick up any just random women and just went and married her. He found somebody that matches his system. She found a guy that she felt like was him. He was the prize. And she said it in her vows. She said, I told my homegirl that he's going to be my husband. You don't say that to somebody that you know isn't the prize. You say that because he's the prize. You know, the prize is the end goal, and she got her prize. So understand how life is being ran. Understand the dating pool that you're in. Understand your role that you play in it. Understand how that whatever you ask for, you bring to the table as well. And make sure that you're reciprocating that energy. Because if you're not reciprocating that energy, trust me, that guy's going to find somebody that's going to work in his system the right way and is going to supply his needs the right way. So that's my point on that.
Real talk, man. Hey, listen, men have
Right.
figured out the con. Real talk, men have figured out the con, and I like that. That's a good thing, because this is how we grow. For the longest time, men have just been taking whatever anybody said. Oh, women are sugar and spice and everything nice and whatever. And no, men started kicking the tires and looking under the hood. You know what I mean? And you
Correct.
know, men are requiring women, like you said, to show themselves. Okay, I know that as a young lady I used to date some time ago, and she just wanted me to, be in a relationship with her, be serious with her. We've been dating for, I've known you for 6 months now. Why won't you be in a relationship with me? And I told her, I don't know you. And
Yeah.
in order for us to, yeah, we've known each other for what, 6, 8 months now. We've known each other casually, but I don't know you. I've never had any really in-depth conversations with you. I don't know anything about your family. I don't know what your worldview is. I don't know what your political stance is. I don't know you like that. It went right over her head
Yeah.
because her biological clock is ticking. She found some dude, God bless him, whatever. And I hope it works out. But the point of the matter is, I'm not just going to make this lifelong decision that I feel like you had to take very seriously as a man. When you're marrying a woman, you're giving her your last name.
Yeah.
You are that, and that's very significant. It says that you
Mm-hmm.
are responsible for this human being and
Yeah.
anything else that comes at when you multiply your kids, you are responsible. The buck stops with you at the end of the day. You
Yeah.
know, yes, women can help and with the help meet thing and all that stuff or whatever, but it's really supposed to come down to you. You are supposed to
Yeah.
risk life and limb to protect this person, to provide for them, whatever the case may be, whatever it takes. You got to figure it out. And you don't just give that away to anybody. You
Exactly.
understand what I'm saying? That's the long and short of it. And yeah, I hit the lottery. And I realized that real quick. And I told my mom the first weekend I met her, hey man, if this girl keeps up like this, that's it for me. You know,
Mhm.
you find somebody who's on that level, because I knew that I had become the person that I wanted to attract. My problem or my issue was that I needed to get all these other distractions and all these birds up out my space so I could focus on that type of woman when I found her.
Exactly.
My brother gave me that game, and I'm thankful for that. So a lot of times, yeah, you just gotta cut out for those of you out there that are having relationship problems, particularly the guys. This is manifestation when he put it out there. You know, the young lady that you're looking for may be right there in your midst or in your path coming forward, but
Mm-hmm.
you got to get rid of all these birds. We like to have these little scallywags hanging around. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And we like to talk about how we can't just be with one woman and we can't just, that's not
Nope.
natural, whatever. Man, listen, it's as natural as you make it. We're having difficulty making relationships with one woman work. How you think it's gonna work with 3 or 4?
Yeah.
You got to use your head sometimes. You know what I'm saying? It's really just that simple. Let's crawl before we walk and walk before we run and run before we soar. You know what I'm saying? You talking about something that's just way, way, way off, in no man's land, and you can't even get basic shit right. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
let's get the basics together where we can have, a relationship, one man, one woman, nuclear household, kids, and everything is cogent and cohesive, and we're moving forward, and we've built our black nation, and everything, it's going back to how it used to be back in the day. Let's do
Exactly.
that first, and then we can talk about, all the extracurricular stuff. But at the end of the day, what I found is, I feel fulfilled with this one woman. A lot of guys have never really given themselves to one woman and
Mm,
internalized one woman that was worthy like that, to the point where they
mm,
can even see how this benefits them. And
yeah,
that's kind of my message, to put it out there that it actually can happen. But you got to give your all to them. They got to give their all to you. And,
hmm,
you have to be worthy of them and they of you, and once you have that dynamic, yeah, everything else just kind of works, man. It's
yeah,
not complicated. It's really not.
yeah.
That's
And
that's all fine.
we go back to the whole prize thing. Every
Yeah.
prize needs a trophy case. So, you put your prized possession in a trophy case. Your mate is your trophy case. You
Mm,
don't want to have a shamby mate, because if you have a shamby mate, then guess what? That means the trophy case isn't as solid as the prize itself, which is the trophy.
mm,
So,
mm,
you gotta line up with people that aligns up correctly. And I talked about
mm,
that going back to the Black Wall Street, how we traditionally aligned ourselves up with quality individuals, and built that strong home structure like that. I just wanted to show you guys this. This just shows you more of what I was talking about. So Beyonce had dropped some tickets and it caused a ruckus in this household. And I
oh
want to
yeah.
show you guys exactly what happened.
Uh-huh.
Right? I think this was
Mhm.
one of you guys must have tagged me to it. I think it might have been you, Drake.
Yeah, I
Uh,
tossed that your way.
yeah, Queen of Accountability. Shout out to her. So
uh,
it was
Shout
like,
out
hey,
to
babe.
Daphne be doing God's work out here, man. She really gonna have all sorts of accolades in heaven. I know she will, because she's terrific.
Yes,
that
definitely. We need to get her on here. See if you guys can reach out to her. We definitely need to chop it up with her, man. She's
that
so dope. So
Absolutely.
she has this screenshot that she sent, and you when you Drake, you tagged me to it, so I just took the screenshots and I wanted to display them today. So it said, "Babe." So this is the interaction between a couple. It says, "Babe." He says, "Yes." She says, "I love you." He says, "I love you too. What's going on?" She says, "Babe, I really want to go to the Bay concert in July, and pre-sale tickets is on January. I mean, it's on February 16th. You don't have to get me a V-Day gift or a B-Day gift. I just want to see Beyonce, please. And then he says,
no, I didn't see the rest.
next one is, why is it not? Hold on. Did you just see it? Okay, hold
Yes,
on.
yeah.
Okay,
It's
there we go. All right, so then she lists Charlotte, North Carolina. I guess they stay in Nashville, Tennessee. And he was like, come on now. We agreed to not spend money on entertainment until we save enough for our house. We've been saving 10 months. Can't do it, babe. Sorry. She says, I'm
Mhm.
begging you. She doesn't do concerts often. This is a once in a lifetime thing. And this would really make me happy, babe. Please. And then he says, you told me last year an engagement would really make you happy. I did that. Then you said a house would really make you happy. We made a deal not to waste any money or stuff like that. Her tickets are starting off at 600 for nosebleed without taxes and fees. We can't do it. Once we get the house, we can have fun. Stay focused, babe. So she says, so it's a no. When the tickets go on sale, they won't last long. She will be sold out in hours. I'm begging, and you are still saying no. He says, no. Stay on course, babe. We will talk about this later. I love you. She said, wait, some of the money is mine, though. I know I gave you at least $1,000 towards a house fund. Please give me my money and I'll pay you back later. He says, are you serious, Gemma? Tell me you're joking. She says, I'm very serious. When can I pick it up? He says, you're telling me Beyonce is more important than our dream house we've been saving 10 effing months for. You contributed $710 to the fund, and the rest is me. You promised to be responsible.
Wow.
She says, I want my money. He said, okay, I'll withdraw it today and you could pick it up. The engagement is off. I need a break. She said, what? So you're breaking up with me for asking for my money? Fine. Text me when I can pick it up. And I was just like so appalled by that. I was
Wow,
so
bro.
appalled by that.
Woo-wee.
I don't know what
Oh
to
my
say about that.
God. Listen.
You know?
Wow.
I do not know Beyonce Knowles Carter. I do not know Sean Carter.
Yeah.
But I know good and damn well Beyonce Knowles, the daughter of Matthew Knowles,
Mm.
was not going to be pulling no bullshit like that to see no Diana Ross or no Whitney Houston or no. I know good and damn well
Come on,
she
bro.
wasn't going to fix him out to come to Sean Carter talking about, babe, can I take my 710 out
Yeah.
this mortgage money?
What's
Yeah.
crazy?
All right. Beyonce got her husband. Okay.
Yes.
What's
She
crazy is
does.
that she thinks $710 towards some mortgage money is some money, but that's a whole other conversation. You say, yeah,
There's so much wrong.
bro.
So
What?
much
What are we
wrong.
talking? Listen, that guy.
Oh,
See, this is the importance of vetting, and I talk about this to every and anybody that I talk to. You know, because now I'm married, and they see, you know, my wife is gorgeous. She's a wonderful person. Everybody's asking me for advice now. I'm the guru now, right?
Yeah.
I I don't take it that way, but that's how a lot of people see it.
Yeah.
I tell
Yeah.
them like this, man. What you don't know is the first 120 days that I was dealing with my wife was an interrogation. It was it was a constant interrogation. It was a pleasant one, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I mean, I asked her any and everything. I put her in scenarios with money. I put her in scenarios with family versus husband. I put her in scenarios with every type of scenario imaginable. I'm writing a book about it right now called The Relationship
Nice.
of Questions. You dig? All type of scenarios, and I just kept asking questions because I saw the potential in her to be a wife, and I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be sure that she wasn't going to do some knucklehead shit like that. You
Mm-hmm.
should know your woman's or your man's mentality. You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Going into a relationship to know how they'll respond to some shit like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Girl, I don't give a damn who it is. Her favorite. First of all, she don't worship celebrities, so she's not out here
Yeah.
trying to take what money we saved towards a mortgage to go see some goddamn celebrity. You got to
how
get a
about
woman who doesn't have stupidity on her mind like that. You understand, brothers? I'm
Yeah.
talking to the brothers right here. You got to get a woman who doesn't have stupidity on her mind like that. Beyonce's cool. I like Beyonce, kind of. You know what I'm saying? I kind of like Beyonce too. She's a very talented artist. I can understand how you might want to see her. But the man is
Mm-hmm.
saying very clearly, hey, basically, stop being a fucking child. Dumbass.
Yeah.
He's basically he's politely saying it's his girl, he loves her, but he's telling her, stop being a child. You know,
Yeah.
we have real goals that we are trying to accomplish together. And
Exactly.
we agreed to this, you know, and you're such a child that you want to take your toys and go home. You should never,
Exactly.
you should not give a woman like that. You shouldn't take her on a date. If y'all go on a date, you go Dutch. You don't even pay for a damn Starbucks date with a chick who has that low of a frequency and low level mentality.
Exactly.
That's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying?
It
That's
is.
offensive, dude. This is your life that you claim this is the person you want to spend your life with. You want to build a life around them. You love them so much. She started the text, I love you, you
Yeah.
know, but when the person doesn't give you what they want, or you want to take your money that you had towards you know, us doing something for our life together,
Yeah.
it's been on some bullshit.
Exactly.
Come on,
And that's
bro.
why I said with the whole prize thing, right? So if she lose this man,
Yeah.
I know for a fact there's a very high percentage she would never get a man like that again.
Nah. Nah. And she doesn't even
That
Well,
realize
type of mindset,
she
I
doesn't even
can.
realize
I don't know
that's a
about
blessing.
y'all. I can hear when I first read that at the end of it, I could hear the Bobby Womack playing them. I could if you think you're lonely, Matt, way until oh man, look,
God, this chick
I
is a
can hear the
yeah,
scumbag tones in my ear. I can hear it.
that's
It's a
nonsense.
disciplined man. He's about business. He's about
yeah.
man's a sniper. He sets goals. He fires it. She came whining and hooting and hollering and kicking up a fuss, whatever. Talk about, I know I paid at least $1,000. That man knew the dollar amount right there, how much she contributed. Dude is,
The
dude is
dollar
about
amount is at it
business.
right.
Dude is about business. He ain't with the
Serious.
bull jobbing. That
This is
man
serious.
handles business. And unfortunately,
Serious.
we don't have enough brothers out here who about business like that. You got
Yeah.
a dude like
Exactly.
that, you can build so you can get some stuff done with a man like that. You
Hmm.
can make some
Exactly.
moves with a man like that.
In 10
She
years, she'll
Exactly.
got
be
that, and she better throw it away for who? Beyonce.
Beyonce
One night.
tickets. Really?
One night.
I guarantee you right now, if them screenshots made their way to Beyonce, I can tell you right now, she looking at it like she with blues face, like, oh no, baby, what is we doing? I, I'm not worth it. No, go.
Yeah,
Beyonce would slap you across the head.
Mhm.
exactly.
You got to be careful about women like that. And they're just
Oh
the,
yeah.
I don't get my way. So I'm just going to do me. Never mind what we discussed. Never mind what we planned. I don't get my way, so I'm gonna just do me. That's the type of woman
Exactly.
who will cheat on you with some dude.
Yeah.
She didn't
Oh
get her
yeah.
way. She's mad.
Oh yeah.
That's a
That's a woman
child.
who is knee deep in her
Oh
emotions.
yeah.
She lets the emotions govern her. But
Yeah.
something else I'm
Exactly.
gonna say, in as far as game goes, there was something that jumped out at me immediately
Hmm.
Mm.
when he started listing off some things to her. One of the things that jumped out at me immediately was when she started kicking the fuss and he saw that she was for real, and he was trying to, bring her back to herself.
Yeah.
One of the first things he said, he started listing the things that he did when she talked about this would make me really happy. He started listing the things that he did to make her happy.
Yeah.
He
Exactly.
said, "You told me last year an engagement would really make you happy. I did
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Then you said a house would really make you happy. We made a deal to not waste money on stuff like that so we could basically make this happen."
Yeah.
Right.
That was the first mistake, and that right there, I don't know if he noticed
Really.
that, but he opened his mouth. That right there was game for both men and for women.
Right.
Hmm.
You said you an engagement will make you happy, so I did that.
Mm-hmm.
Fellas,
Hmm.
Never do
we
that.
know.
Mm.
We know there's no I hear a lot of people say things like, oh, it takes me it'll take men a few years to go ahead and decide he wants to marry a woman. It'll take several years, it takes 3 years, 4 years. You got to
Yeah.
really get it does not take that much time for a man to
Mm-mm.
know. The only way it'll
Yeah.
take that long for a man to know if she's the one, if that's the one that he wants to get married to,
Mm.
is if he's just sitting there chilling and just going along for the ride and he's just waiting for some mystical sign to pop up. If he's not active in the vetting process, then it's going
Right.
to take years.
Right.
Yeah.
If he's being very passive, just wasting time, he's just hanging out and just relaxing, that's when it's
Mm-hmm.
going to take
Yeah.
years.
Real
A
talk.
man that's about business, that's goal oriented, that knows what he wants, it don't take that long.
No.
And you
It
should
should
not.
take about 6, maybe 9 months for a man to know if this is. In some cases, even less if he really knows what to look for. He's got
Right.
some good game in his corner. He's got some good old heads. He's got a good father, a good grandfather, some good
Mm-hmm.
uncles. He
Yeah.
got some good male figures in his life that can really give him that game and serve as like a counselor for him. It can take even less time on it because they're gonna let him know, they're gonna let him see outside of himself and give him that outside perspective that he might be lacking. But it don't take all that time. The reason why she had to even say that in the first place is because subconsciously he either knew that she wasn't the one
Mm-hmm.
or didn't see what he needed to see about her. And ladies, that's some game for you right there too.
Real
Yeah.
talk.
The reason why some of y'all have been dating a dude, not even engaged, but y'all been dating a dude for a year, 2 years, 5 years, eight
Mm-hmm.
years, dare I say 10 years,
Oh, oh,
and forgetting engagement, ain't been no conversation about marriage.
right.
Anytime one of them K's, Jewelers, he went to Jared commercials come on, and you
Yeah.
turn the volume, y'all guys know how y'all do. Bobby know. They may
Yeah.
not know. Bobby know. Bobby know. Y'all go and take your where my Comcast remote at. Y'all go and y'all turn the volume up. Every kiss begins with K. Y'all got the volume on max. They got the little newspaper clippings with the little ads every time the holidays come around. You put that out there or whatnot,
Huh?
or you start mentioning, "Oh, Kiara just got engaged the other day. That's so nice. It looks so great." And he just right there ignoring you, tuning you out.
Yeah. Yeah.
If a dude, especially if you know he cares about you, if a dude is taking that damn long and ain't nothing popping up,
Mm.
that means that he hasn't seen what he needs to see out of you. He
Period.
may care about, he might just be settling for the sex, whatever else y'all going on. But if he actually cares about you, that means he's waiting to see something in you that he hasn't seen yet.
Real talk.
Mm-hmm.
That's his
That's
way
it.
of saying you ain't developed, you ain't there yet. And he's
Yeah.
not about to make that ultimate commitment. He's not about to go and tie himself, his finances, his resources, his name. He's not about to get invested in you like that until he knows he ain't about to go bankrupt, metaphorically and literally, by doing so with you.
Real talk. And,
That's
and
why
let
it
me
doesn't
just
make any sense to put down no ultimatums. If you got to put down an ultimatum, if you got to tell a man to propose to you, or if you don't propose to me, I'm out. You already lost.
that's heavy.
Yeah.
It's a great observation, Bob. And let me
And you
just put
saw
my
how he was quick to bring that out. That low key resentment. You said you wanted this. I did this for you.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
And now you
Yeah.
understand why you had to go and ask him in the first place because he saw you wasn't ready. And when he
Mm.
went ahead and he gave you the bump you didn't deserve, you just proved exactly why he was hesitant in the first place. His
Yes.
bad was that he didn't sit on that. Now he didn't get married to her, thank God, but it should have never got that far in the first place because as soon as he saw Sheen about that, he should have gone ahead and sent her back to the streets. Should have sent her back to Beyonce land.
Right. Right.
That's what
Yeah.
he deserved.
He did
Recap.
himself a favor.
Recap.
He did himself a
Re-
favor. That's very, very eloquently put. Let me just put
yeah.
this in there before I forget too.
Yeah.
And ladies, if you're sticking around for all this time, just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting into perpetuity, you need to develop some standards.
Yes.
That's the long and short of it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That doesn't make any damn sense for a dude to be stringing you along
Exactly.
that long, no matter what his excuse is. Tighten up.
Exactly. Because
Yeah.
if you're not going to see the signs and you're going to be a person that's going to hop from different men because of you not being who you need to be, you're going to end up like Amber Rose. So Amber Rose says she's not interested. She says the dating scene is worse than ever, and she calls men gross, right? So this is a woman who goes, she
Jesus.
has a couple children father,
Sour grapes.
don't know her to be married at any point. Um, she's been living her life reckless.
Mm-hmm.
She's been doing things to get clout and change because what happens is women like that, even though they might have a nice body, they don't have no identity.
No.
And what happens when you don't have an identity, you end up with men of caliber, and then you're under their wing, and now you're trying to figure out how am I going to make the Amber Rose brand different and away from them, and be this successful person. And you're trying to do it. You went out here talking about slut walk, and that didn't work in your favor, and you're trying different things, and nothing catches on, and now you're pretty much just lost in the wind because you're not irrelevant anymore. Nobody really cares and looks out for you. So now you're bitter. And then all of a sudden, you saying all these bad things about men, but yet you said that you don't want to have sex or nothing like that. But then when this came around, she went on her Instagram and said, yo, whose ass I gotta eat to get tickets to the Super Bowl?
Oh my God.
So now you sell yourself so short in the limelight, and
The
now you
jokes.
contradict
So
yourself. And that's what we talk about. The contradiction of people is just, once you contradict yourself, you lose all credentials, all credibility.
Yeah.
You lose people looking at you a certain way in the light because you were saying all of this and you was trying to stand so firm, and now you said something that made you one of the lowest hanging fruits off the tree. Whose ass I got to eat for a woman to come out and say she has to eat some ass to get some tickets to a Super Bowl is just way beneath
But
what
it's
any average
even as
woman
a joke,
but
if
it's
that's what
say.
it's
really
supposed to
true.
be.
Yes,
Right.
even if it was
Highly
a
true.
even in a joke, it's still low graded, right? Like, you're a woman of supposed to be of this caliber. You know, everybody knows Amber Rose. You've been in the limelight where men were gawking over you. They were just jocking you. They were idolizing you. And you went from that to nobody knows anything about you. You're tattooing stuff. You have tattoos across your forehead now. It's like you're lost in the sauce. You done lost your mind. You don't even know which direction you're going in. You're just trying to, what they call, throw things to the wall to see if it
See what
sticks.
sticks. Yeah.
And
Mhm.
that's
It's
the type of
coming now though.
mentality. Yeah, that's the type of mentality you're at. And I just want, I bring that up to show women, don't be that woman, because I see a lot of women out here that's falling into the realms of that. And
Yeah.
we have some mutual friends. I know me and Bobby especially have mutual women that
Yeah.
we see always complaining on social media about men and why they can't find certain men and this and that and that. And you're the Amber Rose. You're that
Yeah.
woman that is just trying to get the attention and just throwing every post out there, hoping that you can stick and attract the man that you want. You went from being a woman of quality to now you just want a dude to just take care of you. And that's not how it rolls, because every time you post something out there, it's stuck out there. So if a
Correct.
man is following you and he's watching your movements, because men are hunters. And if we're hunters, hunters watch. They watch who they're going after. They watch who they chase after. If I'm watching you and you're just doing stuff that makes me see you are low graded in energy and you have damn near busted down so much that you're tired now, I'm not going to even look in your direction.
Right.
I'm not going to pay attention to you. I'm not even going to give you the chatter or even the convo that you need anymore. I'm just going to walk away and keep it moving. And
Right.
majority of the men are doing that. They don't have time, and they peep game from seeing what women do, and they walk away from it. And kudos to those men. That's what you start doing. Walk away from these women,
Right.
because these
Right.
women are more of a problem than they're going to be a solution to you. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the bottom line. And that's what you guys have to
Yep.
avoid. And that will help you to lead yourself into a healthy and peaceful relationship in the long run.
Real talk. Real talk. Listen, man. That last one just did it for me. I mean, wow, whose ass I gotta eat to get into the to get to the Super Bowl? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Bruh, when it gets to that point, and like you said, and we got a whole
Yeah.
most of the chicks that you and Bobby have that are mutual friends, they done block me because I lift their ass up.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
you,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, you
Yeah, I
know,
already know.
man, I don't play. If they come on my thread with that
Yeah.
bullshit, you gonna get your feelings hurt. So,
Yeah.
they done blocked me or whatever. I done let them have it. I done nailed them to the cross a couple times. But yeah, you gotta, guys, you gotta start practicing dick discipline, like Kevin Samuel said. People like to write Kevin Samuels off. That guy was right about a lot. These guys, brothers, you can't be out here, like you on a plantation somewhere,
Yeah.
just knocking Miss Bessie and, left and right all willy nilly. Nah, bro. There are real world consequences out here. You can't, when you start knocking up all these women and you can't afford to pay child support for your kids, the system will throw your ass in jail. You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
Yeah.
it'll revoke your passport. It'll garnish your wages. Bruh, it's a whole litany of shit that the system will do to
Yeah.
you when you can't afford to take care of your kids. You understand what I'm saying? You can't be out here like that. Not to mention you got
Exactly.
STDs out here that'll still kill your ass. You know what I'm saying? Or just make life very uncomfortable for you so that, when you do find a woman that you want to deal with or whatever the case may be, you can't even lay down with it for fear that you might destroy her.
Yeah.
This is serious, fellas. And, we need to start valuing ourselves and valuing our seed, because every time that
Yes.
you lay down with a woman, you run the chance that, you may impregnate her. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And listen, listen, hold on. We got something. She chose to take the slut walk proudly. So how do we think she should move now? Uh,
Yep.
y'all know I'm petty. That question. I mean, it's not even a matter of how she should move now. To me, it's how she should never have moved to begin with.
Yeah.
Look, everybody's entitled to do what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to be
Yeah.
a proud slut, that speaks volumes of your character. And when people
Yeah.
start
Yeah.
treating you like a proud slut, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak, when people start treating you that way, well, you reap what you sow.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel sorry for the sister, because you can't tell me that you don't like men. Men was your whole life. Not too long
Yeah.
ago, I didn't know who she was. She just kept hopping from this dude to that dude. So eventually, I'm like, okay, I guess she's somebody. Whatever the case may be. I didn't know who she was except for the guy she was dating. That's how I found out who this woman was. I still don't
Yeah.
know any verifiable.
Originally, her
Huh?
whole claim to fame, and I don't think she was even that big of a deal because clearly, if you were popping after the fact, that means you really wasn't big time when you're doing it. But
Right.
supposedly, she was a stripper, and somewhere along the lines between her being a stripper, dancing clubs or whatnot, and getting involved with I don't think it was Kanye was the first dude that she was with, but Wiz.
Yeah.
Wiz
Somehow she got
Khalifa.
hooked up with Wiz. I think she used to I think that's what it was. I think she was based out of Philly or something, one of the clubs up there. And I'm
Yeah.
guessing she bumped into Wiz. She worked a little script of magic. She made it clap upside down. She made the heels dance on the butt cheeks. I don't know, whatever the hell she did in the club.
Right.
Guess got him going. And at that time, Wiz was really popping. He was this real heavy name in in mainstream rap at that time. So by default, being the chick on his arm, she looked all exotic-ish or whatever. That was all
Right.
she needed to really kind of launch herself. But basically, she did what a lot of these game goofy dudes do. And for women, leading with sex is the same as dudes leading with their wallet.
Right.
It's always
Right.
going to bring the wrong energy. It's always going to bring the wrong attention your way. And so,
Right.
just like, and we see the same exact thing happen recently with Brittany Renner. She
Mm-hmm.
another one. These women who use sex to make a living, to gain notoriety, to get attention, or
Yep.
whatever, to go ahead and get their name out there. They do this, they create this image and this persona themselves, and then later on, when they finally want to dial down and change and transition, they find out that it's not so easy to leave the game. I
Yeah.
um I just saw a clip. I was looking for something else, but I saw a clip of an interview with the former or current. I don't know. These people always got one foot in the game, one foot out the game whenever it suits them. But
Yeah.
this former porn broad, Mia Khalifa, and she was being interviewed by this dude. And it was a real serious interview, whatever. She was fully clothed and everything, so it was like legitimate interview.
Yeah.
And I forgot what the premise was, but basically, I think it was what was the most embarrassing moment of your life or something like that.
Hmm.
And she said that the moment occurred uh several years after she got out of porn and after she got out of porn or after she stopped doing it officially or whatever.
Yeah.
And she was at a lunch with a client that she was looking to do business with. She was looking to do this business deal, whatever, this business venture with this client, whatever. They were looking to partner with her on whatever business it was. She didn't say what it was, but it was a business deal. So it was a business lunch. It was real big, and apparently while they were having lunch, she was talking and talking, whatever, and apparently some fans walked up. A dude and his chick walked up and said, "Oh my God, aren't you that porn girl Mia Khalifa? Can I get an autograph?" And rightfully so, she checked dude. It was like, that's so, no, you cannot have an autograph. You're so rude. You don't see me having a conversation and you're just gonna interrupt me literally to ask for an autograph? No. And then she said that his chick said, "See, I told you that bitch was. See, I told you that wasn't her. You can't recognize the bitch without cum on her face," and walked off. And mind you,
Whoa.
this didn't happen in the bathroom. This did
This
not
happened.
happen, in an elevator. This was in a
Wow.
public setting in a restaurant, and she's sitting at a table across from someone that she's trying to do business with. This isn't a
Yeah.
business partner. She's in hopes of securing a legitimate business deal.
Yeah.
And this said right then and there.
We'll see.
And as she was telling the story, you could actually see her, and I actually felt bad for her. You could
I
actually see tears welling up her eyes as she's remembering this, and she started breaking down a little bit. And
she should.
the reporter was very, he was very empathetic with her, and he asked, well, okay, well, that was a terrible thing for them to do, but what happened with the business dinner?
Yeah.
How'd it go? She was like, well, thankfully the person was understanding, and they still wanted to do business with me in spite of that happening.
Yeah.
And so we were able to go ahead and finish the lunch, whatever, and we were able to, agree on the deal, whatever. So it worked out in their favor.
Yeah.
But in a lot of cases, that kind of situation, something like that happens. That's it. Because these brands,
Yeah.
especially depending on who they're trying to reach, they don't want that kind of heat coming along with you. You're radioactive.
Right.
It's few places, unless they're trying to bank on that kind of edginess, that are going to take that risk on you. But this was what you signed up for.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got to
Yes.
be careful with opening that Pandora's box, because you open the box, it looks all good, but some stuff you can't put back in,
Yeah.
and there's no telling what's going to come out.
Exactly.
Talk.
So you got to make a smart decision. If you leading with sex, Amber Rose Juniors, because Amber's
Mhm.
straight. Her face out there, she can get deals a lot of places. Same from the Brittany Renners. The average chick with the Brittany Renner, Amber Rose, Mia Khalifa mindset, it's not going to be that easy for you.
It's a
No.
wrap.
You did too good a job selling yourself in this capacity, and now people believe that you are who you said you are. You can only blame yourself for that.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
so you got to
It's
choose. You got to choose your mistakes wisely. Everything you can is get
Definitely.
them and walk away from. Sometimes you can get hit by a car and you can walk out the car unscratched. Sometimes you do that and you're in the hospital for months in a coma. You got to choose your accidents wisely.
that's heartbreaking.
True.
That's
That is
heartbreaking.
true. So
But
here
go ahead.
conversations, we give you guys great game, and men and women can take this game and run with it and establish some great connections and build some great uh, memories and unions with it. So one of the things that we wanted to do was we wanted to show you, a lot of times people don't know, they have like lackluster information on dates, and maybe the dating pool isn't working good for you because you're not coming up to be creative when it comes to dates. I remember I was telling people before, like, two of the worst place to have your first date was at a restaurant and in a movie theater,
Mm.
because you're not going to hear your peoples or who you're dealing with through the clanking of the plates and chewing the food and all of that. And then in a movie theater, you have to be very quiet. So we wanted to give you a list of some ideals, and this is 6 lists of ideals, of dating ideals, that you can go out there and implement that might work for you, right? So the first one is the picnic date. There is something special and free about the outdoors. Pack up some food and drinks and find a spot and have some fun. Second one is the walk date. Make time to just take a walk as you bond. Walk as long as you hold hands, laugh, bump shoulders to shoulder. You need no money for this. Three is the elegant date. Go all out. Fellas, ask her out to an expensive, classy venue. Give her a chance to dress up. See if she feels special, smiling as you romance her as she wears a fashionable dress. 4 is a dance date. Find a place where you have good music is playing and dancing is taught, and go there as a couple. Salsa, merengue, Afro twist, benge. Go to these places that where you will sweat, groove, and have some fun. Imprompt date, right? So the imprompt date is basically dates that you don't have to pre-plan. You just spontaneously do something sometimes. Drop everything and just go somewhere as a couple for some quality time. And like I say, movie dates, not really a good place to take somebody on the first date, but it is a good place to go on a date. So you can go on a movie date. Go to the cinema and the movies to bring out some of the emotions. You know, you never know how a person react. I know people always say scary movies will have a woman clinging on to you tighter and stuff like that. So if you're that type of person, those are just some ideas that you can go out there and definitely try out and see if it works in your favor.
Great name.
We also, you guys want to add to that before I go to the next one, or
I just
you
want
guys
to
have
go
any
back and touch
suggestions?
on the yeah, I just want to go back and touch on the whole Amber Rose situation and
Okay, go ahead.
those type of women in particular. I'm not the type of person who's going to say to you that a person can't grow, a person can't change, or whatever the case may be. But
Mhm.
we're in this weird space where I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of this. You know, when you deal with a woman like that, you know, you got these other people who are promoting this type of, you know, thought whole culture, you know, that will tell you, you know, will castigate you, and you know, they'll jump down your throat because you examine a woman's past.
Mm,
That right there, brothers, is something that you should absolutely lean into. Don't ever let anybody tell you that you need to get with somebody and not examine their past. And just to speak to the point that Rick made up, was bringing up earlier, you know, as a culture, as men too, you know, we have to get past this culture where we're uplifting these women that are the lower echelon of what women can be. You know,
mm,
all this slut praise, you know what I'm saying? That has to stop. You know, I mean, we
mm,
do it constantly. And then we complain about the caliber of women that are available out here after, you know, I'm in love with a stripper and everybody to death. You understand where I'm coming
mhm,
from? It's like,
Yep.
dude, you got to make up your mind. You can't be talking out of both sides of your mouth. I get it. There's a
mm,
different type of woman for a different type of entertainment, shall we say. I get that. You understand what I'm
mhm,
saying? But all of this praise for all of these women that are, you know, exploiting, that move in an exploitative type of space, you know, when it comes to women that move in a disrespect, because quiet as it's kept, that's
mhm.
disrespect towards women also. Women only want to
Yeah,
call out disrespect towards women when it comes from a man. You
yeah.
understand what I'm saying? But that type of behavior is also, and I have video. I have footage from years, 20, 25 years ago. People like C. Dolores Tucker, people remember when they had the what was it, Spellman, that boycotted Nelly for the tip drill video. They acted like they
Yeah.
wanted to have
Yeah.
a cow. And now all of a sudden, all this
Mhm.
twerking and pussy popping on the gram, this is empowering now, is the bullshit they feed you.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So let's have some consistency, you know, and fellas, you know, you absolutely need to always examine a woman's past. There's a guy out here who's supposedly a dating and relationship guru. I'm not going to say his name. He just talks a lot of dumb shit. But he put
Mhm,
up a post not too long ago saying something to the effect of, you know, guys need to get off of this thing where, you know, we're concerned about how many bodies a woman has, whatever, how many men she's been with, and this type of thing. And I'm like, man, and you're teaching this? You're supposed to, you know, have all this game that you're lacing guys with? This is dumb.
mm,
This is an idiotic thing to say, for the simple fact that a woman's body, any woman of consequence will tell you that her body is her most prized possession. She doesn't just give her body to anybody. She doesn't just sleep around. She don't hop from dick to dick. You understand what I'm saying? She'll tell you that. Well, you can't say that in the same breath, and then every time you turn around, you hopping from dick to dick laid up with another dude. The
Yeah.
two don't. They are mutually exclusive thought processes, you know, and you can't be this person and be that person at the same time. That don't
Yeah.
even make sense, you know. And you gotta really, really watch people who, you know, jump on you when you want to examine a woman's past. When's the last time you went to a job interview and they didn't ask for a resume?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So we have
Background
to,
check. Mhm.
yeah, and we have to be cognizant of the tactic, because that's what it is. It's a tactic, you know, of shaming you for wanting to look at somebody's past and examine somebody's past that wants you to build a life around them, that wants to be
Yeah.
with you, wants to wear your, you know, your title or your last name or whatever the case may be. No, you need to dig into their past with everything you have, you know, and be certain of this person before you make any other moves with them. That, and yeah, we need to stop uplifting these women that display the lowest form of what womanhood can be. We need to stop uplifting and exalting them. That's a L for the culture.
Yeah.
That
Definitely.
was my 2 cents on that.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So speaking of uplifting, the
Yeah.
ones that we do need to uplift, and this comes to our final segment of the night, which
Yes, sir.
is Queen Check, right?
Queen
We
Check.
got
Yee.
Crown Check. So
Yeah.
we present to you
I was
Crown
looking
Check.
forward to this.
So
Yeah.
Crown Check is the new segment where we will honor a woman for doing greatness, you know, for our community, or just, you know, making a mark that really is going to be significant, and in a way that is very influential. You know, we have some great women that's going to be coming up. I ran across this one woman today, and her name is Dr. Morena Robinson Snowden. She's married to a black man. She
Mm.
is an engineer uh, that is deals with space, NASA security. She just won an award, and I'm going to let you guys hear her speech real quick, and then we could chop it up.
My family and closest friends, starting with my husband, Reggie Snowden, my father, and my two sisters, Naima and Eva, whose unwavering support of me during my undergraduate career at FAMU and my graduate career, and my graduate career at MIT couldn't have been done without them. I also would like to speak directly to any young girl who might be watching who has even the smallest inclination towards science or engineering. The truth is that you are a legitimate participant in that space, and we need you. What you need to focus on in order to walk that path is to break that vision down into smaller, more executable steps. If it's just finishing a problem set in the book, if it's reading one extra chapter, if it's going to that professor to ask him the question that you were scared to ask in class, do that thing, because we need your ideas. We need your.
All right. So
Wow.
the reason why I chose Dr. Morena for her accomplishments as being, you know, she's done something that was so rare in her field. She got into it, and I think the recognition of her being that specific engineer, getting that rare degree, it reminds me of um, our ancestors, right? So we go way back, and you guys know we had a movie that came out that
Mm.
basically showed that, and that is Hidden Figures. So Hidden
Right.
Figures was basically our elders that are wonderful queens. They were the reason behind all the NASA coordinations, and figuring out how the rocket can go up into space, and making sure that the calculations was measured in the way that it
Mhm.
needed to be measured. So these women were documented, went down in history about it, but their story just got unfolded recently. And this is why I try to tell people all the time that representation matters. We have all these black exploited shows that's going on, showing killing and all this, and we're not bringing stories like this to life that really enhance and give inspiration to basically our ancestors way back when. If you go to the Moorish days, so my company, Moor Empowerment, you guys can see in the background, um, the Moors were scientists. They were these engineers and philosophers and heavy, just very articulate influencers from our ancestors that gained a lot of legacy and gave a lot of good game to people like Christopher Columbus, who didn't know how to get to America until he came to Africa and met up with the Moors, and the Moors gave him the the guidelines and the coordinates how to get to America.
Mm.
Also, you got to remember your first college was out of Africa, in Ethiopia to be exact. So when you talk about colleges and you talk about these collegiate institutions, the core base of it came out of Africa. That's not something that's fabricated, that is facts. And this is the information that we need to teach our children and get them inspired to do everything outside of just the regular norms of um, sports and rapping, singing, dancing. Um, so I brought that up because it also she wrote this piece right here in an interview, and I took this out of the interview. Says the fact that celebrated contributors in the nuclear security are often very male and very white is a function more of our neglect of detail than it is a reality of who has historically contributed. And I
Mm.
thought that was very powerful because a lot of times, a lot of us don't understand history and don't know our history. And when we go into the dominant society, they teach us their history, but they don't teach the correct version of it. And I bring that up because I want to show you guys this. So on
Mm.
the left-hand side is a man, black man by the name of Lewis Latimer. And on the
Mhm.
right side is a man that you guys know throughout history books
Mm.
that you read in school is Thomas Edison. These are the two individuals that they talk about making the light structure, building the lights, the light bulbs, and all these great inventions that came about. But what people don't understand is the black man on the left, never got the credit that he deserved for creating a lot of this stuff. And the man on the right, Thomas Edison, because he was white, because he was during a time where black people could not go out there and get patents, or a black person could not get recognition because he was a Negro, he had to work underneath a white person in order to get work and also to basically do what he was masterful at doing. So anything he accomplished, it would be vanguarded by the white person that they worked for. So Lewis Latimer is the person that we need to be celebrating more than Thomas Edison because he is the one that was responsible for building the whole electrical system in Europe, the whole lighting system, everything that goes on with street lights and everything. This black man on the left, who done a phenomenal job, is the reason why that has happened and the creation for it, but he never got the recognition in the long run for it. And we as black people have to educate our children and let them know, if this information had been brought about years ago, we would have so much electricians right now or people doing electrical work or electrical engineers in the field because of the rich history. So representation always matter because you're always going to look at yourself, and there might be there's probably plenty of black men that look like Lewis Latimer. So just by looking at that, it gives you inspiration to do what you do. And that to me was something that I felt like is very important here. Manifestations that we address that and get that across because a lot of the information and a lot of our stories that are so powerful get lost because we don't go out here and educate our children in the long run. And we have to understand that we don't know the direction of what this world is going to, but we know that we need to get our our chips aligned, and we need to get our stuff in order, because if the dominant society was to break off and want to do their own thing, we would be stuck standing still and be in a place of crippleness, because we're not out here establishing ourselves and trying to establish our own world and community that we need to do in order to survive. The AI system is coming. It's going to crash a lot of jobs. I talked about that last time we was on air. Um, and we need to start protecting ourselves as men. We need to start building this foundation of thinking and how to move in a different direction, because the way things are going now, it's not looking to be anything that's going to be in our favor. So we have to start planning now to make it in our favor. Most of the plans that you see now that's going through your city is 10, 15, 20-year plans. We need to start doing that for our community and also our household. We got to start building back that Black Wall Street, because it's going to be imperative for our survival in the future. So definitely hats off to Dr. Morena Robinson Snowden for accomplishing something so great. We need more engineers. We need more scientists. We need to start building an ecosystem of great scholars like we did back in Black Wall Street. And I told people that historically, to this day, Black Wall Street financially is still one of the most wealthiest and strongest blocks that we ever had in the history. And that goes through any community, the J community, all the way down to the Chinese community. We had the strongest financial block, and it's still locked down in history as that. We got to build that back. That just lets you know how powerful we are, how resourceful we are, and we get back to that level. We can definitely get ourselves out of the current situation that we're in. But it takes the mindset of our people and us men to get together to start building back that foundation, start building back that home. So it goes from the dating scene to going to the next level of engagement to marriage, just like our great brother Major has done, and building that solid foundation. Because not only does that do great things for you as a couple, as a unit, but it also brings a great structure for the community as well as everybody in that family tree. So we have to get back to the basics. We got to start working and start doing it now. Do it due diligently. I went out today and bought my vision board. Vision boards are pretty dope for people who actually use it and it works for you. Maybe vision boards don't work for you. Maybe find something else that does work for you. But make sure that you have a vision in mind for your year or 2 years or 5 years. But make sure you're getting that vision lined up with yourself, because it's very much needed, and that's the direction we need to head into moving forward. So, with that being said, I'll turn it over to you guys, and you guys can definitely end it out for us.
Well, I mean, everything you said was spot on, brother. I'd like to just add to that and put a little
Yeah.
more fuel on the fire, man. Like, just as a people, generally speaking, we need to get our minds off of silliness, man. Like, a lot of us out here, man, I see the stuff that you post on social media, and it's like, man, social media could be such a powerful tool, such a useful tool, something that could really move us forward. But a lot of us, we gravitate to the degenerate side of social media, and we just post utter nonsense all the time. And look, I like, some outlandish, crazy stuff now and again. I like some crazy stuff. I like some nigga shit, if you will, every now and again. But we just go way over the top with it. We need to be more focused. We need to be more serious, and we need to, if we're going to do that, if we're going to listen to the trap music and watch these bullshit reality shows or whatever the case may be, we need to do it in small doses, because we have real problems out here. And I see too many people that don't address these problems at all. That they don't ever talk about this stuff. They act as though everything is just fine, and it's not. The black family's in a state of crisis. The time to speak to the title of this show, scooping from the bottom. Are we scooping from the bottom of the barrel? The short answer is yes for a lot of us. And it's because we're too lazy to make ourselves into better people so that we're more worthy. And, we don't want to do the work that goes into bettering yourself, and even the work that goes into looking for a quality person like the bettered version of yourself. We have become lazy in many ways, and we got to be prepared to do the work, the self work. It starts with you. The majority, yeah, there's always racism, white supremacy, and there's a whole bunch of obstacles and booby traps out there, that has to do with those things. But if your mind is trained so that you're exuding the proper energy, and you are a serious person, like you spoke about the guy in the text messaging. This is a serious brother. This guy's, you can just tell from the stuff that he's texting, this guy can get stuff done. This guy is focused. He's not worried about Beyonce tickets and other such bullshit out here. We all have to become that guy. We can have our fun and we could play, and even, hey, you do the strip club every now and again, that's your business. I don't get down like that, but every now and again, that's what you want to do, that's your business. But at your core, brothers, we have to be more serious. We have to be out here about moving and shaking and protecting and providing, and really, dedicating our full selves, using our full selves for our purpose and standing in our purpose. A lot of us aren't doing that. And, I think that if we start to train ourselves to be better versions of ourselves, then we'll attract those other like-minded people and we'll be much stronger. That's what we need to go with.
Yep. Amen.
Right?
That's what's up.
Well said.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to keep on hammering that point because it's super necessary and it's something that is vital. It's not optional. Um, and I think I might have even mentioned this last time we were all gathered here in this fashion. But um, again, if you're not growing, you are dying. There's no there really I can't stress this enough. There's no middle ground with this. There's no gray area to navigate in. There's no white noise. It's really black and white. You are either growing, living, or you are dying.
Real talk.
So when you decide that you're going to be stagnant, you're going to remain stuck in place, slowly but surely you're beginning to decompose. And that's a metaphorical thing, but that's also a very literal thing as well too. The old adage, "If you don't use it, you lose it." That's a very real thing. That wasn't generated out of thin air.
Mm.
Um, Also, we can tell ourselves all kind of lies. We can come up with all sorts of delusions and fantasies. We can play all kind of mental tricks with ourselves. But subconsciously, we know the truth, and that's what we actually operate on. A lot of us move based off of things that we don't even consciously register. A lot of us have no choice but to scoop from the bottom of the barrel because we ourselves are at the bottom of the barrel. And so when you catch yourself trying to look at better or above your means, the truth is you feel uncomfortable. You don't fit in. You feel out of place, and that might register in different ways. It might look like you coming up with excuses, trying to nitpick and derail people. And both groups do this. One of the things that I recall that I know I've seen sometimes is when you have certain people try to justify dealing with slop, and they'll try to basically tear down what a solid man or solid woman is. They'll try and make this good person what this functional person is. They'll try and tear down, chip away, and come up with all kinds of false descriptions. They'll say this person isn't genuine, they're insincere, they're boring, whatever. They come with all
Mm.
these negative things that aren't even fitting in most cases, just to try and make it sound as though both options with their preference and this better option are the same thing. And so, well, they better off just choose this version. They're going to choose garbage rather than this garbage.
Mm. Mm.
Sometimes that's just you recognize I don't belong over here. But
Right.
again, I can't own that. I can't say it's me, so I'm going to put it on them. We know the truth about ourselves. You can't run and escape who you are. How do you get from a place where you no longer dig in the bottom of the barrel? Get yourself up from the bottom of the barrel. Start growing.
Mm.
Make improvements. Do the difficult self work. It's hard. Sometimes you're going to have to confront some painful things about yourself. You're going to have to realize some ugly truths about yourself. You might genuinely not like who you are.
Mm.
And that's okay. As long as you don't stay there. Do the self work. Repair yourself. Make yourself a better version of yourself. Make yourself a version of you that you can like, that you can be proud of. And once you do that, you begin to get better options. You'll be able to have access. You will no longer be dealing with people from a scarcity mindset where you feel like you have to settle for this because a little of this is better than nothing. No. When you self actualize and get yourself at that point, automatically you'll be dealing with people from an abundance mindset. There's an old fable about a hunchback in France, and supposedly there was a statue built that everyone was talking about in the town, and the hunchback wanted to see the statue, but he couldn't because he was stooped over. And so he made it his business that every day he was going to go out there, he was going to walk around the statue for some time, and he's going to basically stretch himself. He's going to work to get his neck strength and his back strength up so he can do it. And so he did this every single day, and every day he got a little straighter, got a little straighter, a little straighter, until finally he got to a point where because he had exercised and improved himself so much, he was no longer a hunchback. He had normal posture like everybody else. And when he was
Mm.
finally able to look at the statue, he saw that the statue was actually a statue of himself.
Hmm.
By putting in the
Wow.
work, he became this thing that was something to behold, that something was to be proud of, that everybody else was able to celebrate. You can do the same thing.
Mm. I
Carve
like
out a
that.
better version of you, and you're going to be amazed at what comes to you. You talk about the law of attraction, all those other things. When you become what you're seeking, you're not only going to find what you're looking for, you're going to find a whole bunch of other things you didn't expect to find.
Mm.
But that's not going to happen if you're comfortable being a bottom feeder at the bottom of the barrel.
Stagnating. Yeah. Real talk.
Exactly.
Very well said,
That's what's
Bobby
up.
Trey. Yeah.
Definitely.
All
So
right.
remember, they fear you. They fear you being awake. They fear you waking up others. They fear you being armed. They fear you speaking up. They fear you speaking out. They fear you standing up. They fear you resisting. They fear you rebelling. They fear you revolting. They fear you for not complying. They fear you for banding together. They fear you for standing together. They fear you for coordinating. They fear you for learning you are the majority. They fear you for realizing your power. They fear you for using your power. Bottom line, they fear you. So be great, men. We'll definitely see you guys out here next week for another great show. Appreciate you, brothers, for chopping it up and giving everybody out here some great game. And next week, we're definitely going to have some great topics for you again. And Major, we definitely going to have that video for next week. I guess we
Okay.
tried to cram it in today. It's a lot. I didn't even know.
It's a lot going
Yo,
on, man. I get it.
I
You know?
definitely, I definitely want to say that video for next week because
Oh,
I,
oh.
I went through the comment section and that video was very, yo. Yeah, we're gonna save it for you guys next week. But we appreciate everybody for joining us, and we appreciate all the love and all the shares and follows that you guys are doing. Keep it up. Keep putting us out there like that. And we'll see you guys next week at 8 o'clock. You know the time and the date. Peace out.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a show.
On the album, we do things like songs that are a little, what we call sexy. You can see from the title, it's more of a love album.